I'm tired.
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us. This is In the Paint, the realest show in sports. I'm Max 611, aka Mark A. Cunningham. I hate that name, but anyway. R won't be with us tonight, but I got my brothers riding shotgun with me, Chandler and my brother Dom. How y'all doing tonight? It's been a while.
Yeah.
I know.
It's been a while, but we're back. We're back. What y'all been up to, brothers?
Nothing.
I can't complain.
I know.
Good to see my man Chandler.
What's up, Dom?
Damn, man, you bald as hell.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get close.
This is 30 years in the making. Yeah.
30 years, jeez. I'm starting to lose the battle with my hairline, but it's it is what it is.
Please don't tell me that.
23.
Yep. It is what it is. Yo, fellas, let's start it off with some NFL talk. Get that out the way for Dom because he was like in the text. He was like that fuckery, But no.
and just for show's sake, your boy Bishop hit me up on Messenger. Football, it's basketball season. I said, I know.
It is.
Shit,
it is, but
it's actually
big thing
closer
happened.
to baseball season than football season.
Right. I see Jay. I'm gonna add our brother Jay. Us. Yeah. Jay, can you hear us, brother?
Loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's.
What's good, my people?
How you doing?
Man, I'm good. I've been busy as all hell, but
I know you part Jamaican with all them damn jobs you got and all them hours you working.
Hey man.
The hours are crazy, man, but it's good. It's good money.
You need to break each one of us a piece because we struggling. Well, Dom ain't struggling because he retired.
Yeah.
Me off. Only thing that saves Dom is the food he be posting.
Okay.
People.
Hey,
this man is a great cook.
Hey, what's funny?
Absolutely.
If you follow him on Twitter. His food posts are, he's a phenomenal cook. Let's
say one thing, Mark. Just because all y'all are on the text. The only reason I send y'all those messages every morning is because of our boy that never shows up, Carl. He hit me on Twitter one day and said, "Why don't you put them in the message in the morning?" I was like, "Oh." All right, Carl. Where is Carl? Damn.
He's busy, but he might join us.
Because all y'all are on the
He might join us tonight. But we'll see. Let's kick it off. New York Giants. The New York Giants released wide receiver Golden Tate and David Mayo. They did this to cut some costs and save some money on it, and create some cap space.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys' thoughts on them releasing them and what they should do going forward?
Well, I knew Golden Tate wouldn't be back simply because him and the Judge ain't get along. So that's not a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Honestly, I don't because I wasn't feeling so asleep today. Did Allen Robinson get tagged by the Bears?
Not yet. Not that I know of.
Well, it's after 9:00. If they ain't tagged him by now, then they can't tag him. So then I would say, you know what? You got a little bit of salary cap space. You need a stud receiver to go along with what's the kid's name? Slayton? Is that his name?
Yeah. Darius Slayton.
Yeah, because you can't trust Ingram. You can't trust Sterling Shepard. Between them not being able to stay healthy and dropping balls left and right. Go get Allen Robinson and then see what you actually have in this quarterback who you're going to have to make a decision on by the end of this season.
Right. They also need to fix their offensive line. Who has the crackling in the background?
Yo, not me.
I
Oh,
don't know.
Yeah.
Special
Not
guest
me
star
either.
appearance.
Yeah. You
Oh.
already know.
What's
Yo.
good, brother?
What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on?
My man.
You know, this is how it's going to be for a minute. The special guest appearances. You know what I'm saying? yeah, for sure. But let me just answer Chandler's question. I heard you guys talking real quick. Allen Robinson has been tagged by the Bears.
Okay.
He has been tagged.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's off the board.
I saw that report earlier. You know.
What do you think about the Giants moving, releasing Golden Tate and the linebacker David Mayo? And I think they released a couple other players.
They probably did, but these two are, I guess, the most of notoriety, I would assume.
Right.
I know Mayo was like 27, 28 years old.
Right.
I think he came off an injury as well.
Yeah.
So that probably played a factor in his release. Golden Tate, I'm not too shocked either. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
I think I heard Chandler say that Joe Judge wasn't really admirable of the dude. And also the fact that, I always go to age or whatnot.
Right.
I think his best years are honestly behind him. So to move on to probably a much younger, potentially a better wide receiver than him, is what Judge was thinking. I could be incorrect. I'm just throwing it out there, and so that pretty much says it for those two gentlemen,
Right. Mayo was mediocre while he was here. He was one of Gettleman's guys because he played with the Panthers, and GMs and coaches generally do that. They bring a guy who can voice the message that the coach or the GM is trying to send and voice the culture of the coach. And Mayo he was just And like you were saying with age, Golden Tate's about to be 32. This isn't a Golden Tate who was catching 90 balls in Seattle and Detroit. And he had a lot of issues while he was here. He had the PD incident. He was injured for a spell.
Yeah.
The fight with his brother-in-law on the field.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot about that.
His wife tweeting him demanding the ball. It was kind of messy. You supposed to be better than that, Golden. You were supposed to be the sage veteran that we brought in.
I don't follow football as much as y'all, but since I knew y'all was talking about football, I heard that the reason, rumors of course, that the Bears opted on tagging that wide receiver is the possibility of them going after Russell Wilson, because that's one of the few teams that he wouldn't mind going to.
Right.
So, because who's going to throw the kid the ball? You franchise tag this guy, and I don't even know who the Bears quarterback is, to be honest. Tavitsky, is that him? Is it still him? Yeah, right. My bad.
Right. Exactly.
They actually don't have a quarterback right now. No, they don't have anybody under contract. I don't believe.
Horrible.
But see, the thing is, they could still go after Wilson. Now, everybody keeps saying, right now it's $39 million cap hit for Seattle if they trade him now. But if they wait till June 1st, right, then the cap hit can be spread across 2 seasons. So this year can be 16 or something. Next year can be the 20-something, 23 for Seattle. So those are manageable cap hits. So, see, if I'm Chicago, I make the deal with Seattle now, right? I say, listen, this is what we're going to do. When I draft, I'm drafting for you. So you tell me what player you want with this draft pick, because I think Chicago's drafting in the mid-teens, somewhere in that area. I already agree on compensation, everything else. But basically, you just don't, damn it, there's a word. Consummate.
You got 90 phones, so start typing.
Consummate.
Your friend.
But I can't get up right now, bro. I can't move right now.
It's all good, I'm teasing.
You can't. Just don't consummate the trade until June 1st. But go ahead and make the deal now. So if what Dom's saying is right, then it makes sense to tag Allen Robinson because you're going to need a receiver for Russell Wilson.
Right. Just getting back to the Giants, and then we'll swing back around to the Chicago Bears. Ronan just said in the chat room that the Giants did this. They franchised Leonard Williams again. What are you guys' thoughts on that? And this is my take on it. I think they franchised him so that they could so that he won't go anywhere and they could work on a deal.
Yeah. It's smart because this was his best season really since he was with the Jets his first season, right?
Right.
He was a contract year. So now do it again. You know my thing on that, man. Do it again. Do it one more time and I'll pay you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we all know about Albert Hainsworth and all them cats, right? Contract years look like Superman, right? Gave them their money, you know what I'm saying? They turned into Jimmy Olsen.
Right.
So
Right. And Leonard Williams is a good guy. He's relatively young. Right. I think he's about 27 now. Yeah. He was a good locker room guy. He's always been a good guy. It's just that he hasn't statistically he hasn't put it all together, and he put it together last year a little bit. Right. So I'm happy with that move. Right. Look at David looking all smooth.
And don't forget the Bishop is also live as well. Yeah, I don't care. You know because he sucks monkey balls exactly.
On the real though, nah. Bishop is my man for life. As is David. I don't know David as long as I've known Bishop.
Right.
But David looking all smooth, man. You want to host the show? You got business like tonight.
He looked like he got on lip gloss. What the
hell? See, Bishop?
You see?
Get him, David.
It's my camera. I hooked up a new camera.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's good.
Okay.
It's good, man.
It's okay if you got dressed up for the show, man. Did some makeup behind the scenes. That's okay.
Yeah. Back while I was backstage, I figured I would look pretty for everybody.
Well, there you go.
Got logos behind him.
Yeah, I got the just for everybody, just for.
Okay. I see you.
I can't see what it is, Dave.
That is. I'm old, man.
Oh yeah, I got that too.
Oh,
what is it?
It's the Biggie
Notorious
Crown. Yeah.
You guys. David, please tell them what that is. We have a group chat together with these brothers, and they're into this. I'm not. Please explain to the people what this is about.
So it's this thing I just got into, and I see Dom is into it, a couple other fellas into it. It's called Funko Pop. And I've been seeing it for a while, like in the comic book stores and GameStop, and I never really got into it. But I decided to get the Run DMC set. So you can't really see it on this camera right now. But, but I got my old 1985 Run DMC poster that I took off of a billboard back in the day, and I framed it, and then I got the Run DMC set over here. And that's what started me off. And then I fell down the rabbit hole of Funko Pop, and I said, we got a little bit of everything.
Yep.
And so
that's what happens.
I bought had 8 delivered yesterday. I got 2 more coming in.
Damn, yo.
Shit. Hey, you went in like me.
Can we say obsessive?
Look, I can see how you get it though. Dom can tell you.
Hey Dave, you seen the picture I sent y'all?
I
lost count. At first, I started off with just the Marvel characters.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Then one day I saw the Miami Vice guys.
Yeah.
And you had to get it. You just had
I was like, wow, maybe I should step out my box. Then I found the whole Godfather family.
Oh.
Yeah. So I said, okay, I'm out of the Marvel realm. I got enough Marvel guys. Yeah. And I didn't know they made them. The only ones I can't get into is like the Star Wars and
I got 2 of the
Star Wars, man.
So
I've never been into Star Wars.
I got Darth Vader and the Mandalorian over here.
I think I got over 100.
Damn.
Maybe more than that.
Look, I just started, and I've got 11 of them.
Damn.
I just started.
I got a Cam Newton. I got a Cam Newton where he's wearing a suit, and he's opening the suit, and it's got the Superman logo.
Which suit? Because he sometimes wears some crazy gear.
Yeah,
it was a regular. He got on a regular gray suit, and he got his shirt. He's ripping his shirt open.
Okay,
and it's got the Superman logo, and you can see like the Panthers colors on the jersey. So that's when I just started saying, you know what?
Whatever you want, you can find it.
I started with the Black Panther.
Like I said,
I got Black Panther coming tomorrow.
I got the whole Black Panther set.
What about what about Dolomite?
Huh?
See,
the Dolomite.
Bishop, control yourself.
Bishop always got to go left on us, right?
Let's get back to the
liking the guys.
Let's get back to the New York Giants.
They got the monkey nuts one.
Yeah, let's get back to the New York Giants and Leonard Williams. Anybody else on R?
Yo,
your thoughts on the Giants franchise and Leonard Williams?
Well, I mean, that's a good move, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like what said when he got drafted by the Jets and whatnot, I mean, he was out there, but he actually had his first really good year with the Giants.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you combine that with the Jets. He was okay with the Jets, but he didn't really have that breakout season. Not in my opinion. So with the Giants, he did, and they were smart for keeping him. You know what I'm saying? And just like Chandler said, you're pretty much from Missouri. He's pretty much from Missouri. You got to show me. You understand? Show me you can do it again. So that's just a simple and smart move.
Right. Anybody else?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's move on. We're gonna stay in the lane of football. We're gonna stay in New York. The New York Jets GM, Joe Douglas admits that Sam Darnold, their quarterback, can be had in a trade, and that he has, he will accept phone calls. What are your thoughts on that?
He should have been started there. This is not a revelation. It's not a revelation.
Yeah. Listen, I told y'all months and months and months and years ago. First, they shouldn't have drafted him. Secondly, I don't care what anybody says. See, people confuse having really good talent with being able to play. You can have talent and not be able to play at that level. Just because you have the talent don't mean you'll play at that level. I never said Sam Darnold wasn't talented. Sam Darnold's not good. Being good, being talented, two very different things. So again, Mac, you and I had this conversation. If I'm the Jets, right, I got enough first-round draft picks, right? I'll give you Houston. I'll give you the second pick. I'll give you next year's pick. I'll give you the first-round pick the year after that, right? I'll give you Sam Darnold. I'll even throw in one of the seconds I got because the Jets have more than enough draft picks. Now that means they still keep a first-round pick. In this draft, they got somebody else's first rounder.
Right.
They got multiple second rounders. They got multiple third rounders. You go ahead and make that move, man. But otherwise, you know what? Maybe you see if San Francisco wants Sam Darnold, get a second rounder for him. But you got to move on from Sam Darnold. You have to move on from him because this thing of, well, let's see if under this new coach. So you're going to waste yet another season trying to see if you can get Sam Darnold right when listen, at the end of the day, when Sam Darnold has had an opportunity to do something positive, even under a bad coach, he consistently failed until the season was out of reach. And then he played like a world beater. Okay. Same coach in the beginning of the season, things on the line, you're terrible. When the season's over, same coach. Now you're a world beater, but yet it's all on the coach. I'm not buying that.
Is Sam Darnold becoming the Frank Ntilikina of the Jets? You give him a minute.
Like that.
Yeah, you give him a minute. But here's the funny thing, because again, you football guys, the Jets aren't in a bad position as far as drafting another quarterback.
No, they're in a great place.
I don't know who has the number one pick.
Jaguars.
Jack. Do they have a quarterback?
Not really.
No.
Okay, so they'll get Lawrence. But there's about 3 or 4 quarterbacks coming out that are supposed to be, this might be the first year that 3 or 4 quarterbacks go in the top 20. So, I mean, they'll be doing the wheels on the bus, going back with a rookie, having somebody behind them or letting him start first. And if the Jets can't pull off a trade, I don't know what would be wrong with keeping Darnold if your intent is, if you grab one of these stellar quarterbacks, can he be a backup? Can he start a few games until this guy gets his feet wet? Because they're in, I'll tell you what, the Jets are in a good position when you look at it in totality. Position. Yeah. So, I mean, if you dump him, I don't think you're getting Deshaun Watson for him, even if you throw in picks. I don't know if that's going to fly. But again,
well, he might go somewhere, but the deal is to try and get, if you can get Deshaun Watson, you go and do it. I know
for sure.
on Twitter, there's a Jet fan who's like, no, they shouldn't go and get Deshaun Watson. They should draft one of the quarterbacks like Lawrence if he's available, or one or two of the other guys who are available in the draft. And I'm like, dude, you realize he is a top 5 quarterback. If you can get a top 5 quarterback, you go and make that move.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a name. If the Jets do decide to move on from Darnold, can't get Watson, I would not be mad if they signed Alex Smith to a 2-year deal.
I don't want Alex Smith.
If they get that rookie, Chandler, if they draft a quarterback, you're right.
Right.
Because I don't. Well, I heard somebody say what Chandler's saying, but threw the name Jameis Winston in there. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Time out.
Yeah, please.
New Orleans is looking for a quarterback. I mean,
New Orleans, I don't think is going to get rid of him. Go ahead, David.
The problem that I have is the Jets make all those moves and then they pick another Sam Darnold. That's what they do every year. And that's why we're always in this. You never get to build anything because every couple of years they're blowing it up and doing the same thing, but they're not learning. Right. They're picking the same type of player that they can't build around, and then just becomes waste in a couple of years, and then they're looking for who's next. You can give them all the opportunities, they're going to reach in there and pick the wrong one. That's just and I'm a Jets fan, but this is just the Jets way. And then we can put it on coaches, we can change the coach, we can change the scheme of things or whatever, but they're still picking wrong.
Yep.
So I don't know. Look, Darnold is not great. But I would like to see them build something, some of those receivers. They're talking about some big name receivers out there, because I don't care who's the quarterback. He's got nobody to throw it to. Get that offensive line so the quarterback is not looking up at the sky every play because he's laying on his back. Nobody can prosper in that kind of environment. So I don't know. I just don't trust the Jets.
Yeah, and that's why I said Alex Smith, David, because let's say they don't trade for Deshaun Watson, but you move on from Darnold, right? So now the goal is to build a good team in the hopes that if the team is good, you can entice a good quarterback to come. Established veteran that, okay, so you keep all your draft picks. You get that stud offensive lineman. With your second first rounder, you get that Waddle, one of those receivers is going to be available, or Pitts, he might fall depending on how things go, to tight end from Florida. So you get that other receiver to pair with Mims, because the one thing about Mims, I love him, but he's not going to stay healthy. I'm telling you that right now. Mims is, because of how he plays, he's going to incur some injuries, not because he's fragile, but because that kid is willing to take a hit to make a play.
He'll run through a wall for you.
Yeah. Right. So he's going to incur some injuries. So you get you another stud receiver, you build up the offensive line, like David said, you can you bring in a Richard Sherman to kind of preach the gospel of Robert Saleh. You bring in a couple of good veterans who have won. And you know what? Let's see what and that's what I said, Alex Smith, let's see what you can do in 2 years. The AFC East is wide open. You bringing in Alex Smith, who, listen, he ain't a world beater, but he is a competent professional quarterback who can get you to the playoffs. You ain't gonna win, but he'll get you there. All right. And right now, I'm like the Knicks. I'll settle for getting there, and then let's build from there.
No, I agree. And to your Knicks point, I know we'll talk about that later, but it's the same mindset because when the star players around the league, they see you there, then they'll start looking at you as an option. If they don't see you anywhere near playoffs, then you're not on their radar. So get there first, show up at the dance, and maybe somebody will pick you.
Right. If in Chandler's scenario, you get an Alex Smith, except we keep Darnold, would it be out of the realm for the Jets to get that kid Chase, the wide receiver from LSU? He's projected to go high in the draft.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The Jets pick second, right?
They pick second.
Yes.
So he
do that.
He'll be there.
Yep.
Unless Jacksonville, shocks everybody, he'll be there.
But if Jacksonville does take him, then that leaves the door open for the Jets to get Lawrence.
Right.
So again, this is a rare situation where the Jets are in a very good position. Because I always thought, and again, y'all are more of the football gurus to me, but I do watch college football. And this kid from LSU, he's the truth. He's going to be a hell of a wide receiver. Now,
yes, he is.
Where does he go? Who's throwing him the ball? It's like the reverse with the Jets. You want a quarterback. It's like being a Jets fan and a Knicks fan is difficult because we're always looking for a point guard. We're always looking for a quarterback. And it's like this cycle never ends. Yeah. But that being said, if you're in a position to pick up a good quality quarterback, either him mentor Darnold or you get rid of Darnold or he becomes a backup, you got an opportunity to get a hell of a wide receiver, and you just got a good one last year.
Right.
Except nobody's throwing him the ball.
Right.
So now you got two good wide receivers and young.
And you also, with the draft capital you have, you fix the offensive line. Really, what Joe Douglas did, and y'all know what I've said in the past is he said, you know what? I'm going to give Gase the bare minimum of players and spend the bare minimum of money on the roster so that it's bad. So I can say, look at the owner and say, look, see how bad he is? We got to get rid of him. And that's what he did. So essentially, this is really his first draft.
Yeah.
Because when he was hired, he didn't draft those players. McCagnon did. And he got rid of Gase. He has a coach who we know is on paper. It looks good. We haven't seen him coach yet. Right. And he's been a coordinator, not a head coach. So we'll see. And also as Don would say, the clock is ticking on the GM. Yeah. You got to make some moves and you got to hit. With all this draft capital you acquired, with all the cap space, you did. All those moves were great. Now you have to show and prove.
Because it wasn't but a minute ago, guys. The Jets had all this cap space. And some of us, me and Chandler especially, because we're Jet fans, where did we see the money go?
Nowhere. He signed guys who probably won't be here, like the offensive line. He signed veteran guys who were probably teams' worst linemen, who were expendable, look slightly older, and he signed them to cap-friendly. He signed them to cap-friendly money and short-term deals. Some of them guys can be gone tomorrow.
And again, here's that correlation.
Which raises more cap space.
Right, here goes that correlation with the Jets and the Knicks. The Knicks walked away with $19 million in cap. The Jets had all this cap, and then you look, and there's no more cap space, and you're looking around like, where did the money go?
Yeah.
At least...
Listen, he had to get rid of that. He had to make sure that it was bad for Gase and that he could fire him. which I totally understand. So last year was a wasted year.
Yeah.
Well,
But, and that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem though. Is all these wasted years. You know, the players are getting older, and you're not developing a winning culture. But like I said, the Jets are, for the first time I think in my lifetime as a Jet fan, they're in kind of a win-win situation. If you screw this up, man, listen, Joe Douglas, if you screw this up, bro, I'm coming to your house.
Well, he's done. He's done. It's already been said that this guy, the clock is ticking on you. You understand? I understand. Right. Last year, you're not responsible for the draft choices and whatnot, but still, at this point, this is the year where you got everything on your side. You got a whole bunch of arsenal. You know what I'm saying, at your disposal to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying, to get this team back to a point of competitiveness in this league. And if you blow it, I mean, that says a lot.
Yeah, he's gonna make me look bad because I was vouching for your fool ass.
Jet fans are getting older too.
Yeah. By the minute.
Yeah.
I just gained 5 new grays.
I'm one of them. Shit.
Exactly. Yeah. It's true. But if they the other side of it, if they do really well, then R might jump on the bandwagon.
He is.
He's leaning. He's leaning. I see you leaning over there.
Negative. I'm right now. I'm front running with Buffalo as well. So that.
Hold on. Oh, you're amazing, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't mean that in a good way.
Thank you. I'm just saying. No,
you can't even say R jumps on a bandwagon. R jumps on the next train.
Exactly. No. See, and I'm gonna go back to. And I hate to bring the Knicks up, but I gotta do it. Now I don't even talk about the Jets too. You know, after decades of rooting for a team and whatnot, and you're disappointed. You know, listen, I do want to experience some positive things here in the world of sports and teams. So if it's wrong for me to front run, well, you gotta understand where I'm coming from. So I say the hell with y'all. The hell with y'all. The hell with y'all. Y'all could ride with these losing ass teams. I've done enough. I've done decades. I'm done.
So you choose another losing team.
In regards to that hater Bishop, you're quite salty. You just I was gonna, and I hate to get off the topic here, but I was gonna specifically send you an article on Steve Nash and his improving ways of coaching. But I said, I'll give him a break. I've been hitting him kind of low lately, so I don't want to get too bad on him. So I cut you some slack. So you need to fall back with that talk. Okay, so we'll get into that when the NBA talk pops off.
As Ronan said, get ready for the Jets to blow it, gentlemen. They need Watson to entice star players to even think about coming to the Jets. I agree with you. I want them to get Watson. That's what I want. But I don't know if they'll do it.
But the NFL ain't like that, guys. I mean, from what I know, it's not like the NBA where you get a Durant and you get guys to follow him. You get a LeBron. It's a little more difficult in the NFL because, first of all, they have a weak cap. So how do you get all these guys under the cap? It's a little different than the NBA and Major League Baseball. With the NFL, it's, you could get a star quarterback. And if it was that easy, why didn't nobody run to Houston to play with Watson? Was it money? Was it I don't want to go?
One of my friends on my page, my friend Karina, she said Watson alone won't do it for the Jets.
Probably not.
One more Jet topic. They franchise tagged safety Marcus May for $10.5 million. What are you guys' thoughts on them franchising him?
Well,
when you look at the Giants and the Jets, guys, let's be honest. Again, I'm resorting back to you football gurus. Who the hell can they franchise tag?
Listen,
they got a zillion studs that might walk away. I mean,
listen,
let me ask y'all a question. Do you have to franchise a player every year?
Well, his rookie deal is up and he's a pending free agent. So you tag him so that you could work out a deal. Some teams tag somebody so that they could work out a deal so that he won't go somewhere else. And
but
also,
do you have to do that every year, guys? That's my question.
No, you don't. You don't have to do it every year.
Okay.
And the Jets really don't franchise tag players a lot. This is the first time they've done it in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Who they gonna tag?
I mean, from what I understand,
Tag the hot dog vendor.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I understand with the GM Joe Douglas, you know, I know there's some type of contention between him and May, and when I say that, I'm talking about, you know, May wants obviously a contract. You understand?
Right.
Might be a long term when I say that, probably like 3 to 5 years, something like that. You know what I'm saying? He wants that type of deal.
Right. Right.
Oh no, I'm just saying he wants that, and pretty much Joe Douglas is like, listen, we're gonna franchise tag you with the intent of trying to get that long term deal for you. You understand? Because I'm gonna assume, I don't really know. I'm just gonna assume that he was their best player defensively.
He was their best player last year. Period.
Right.
And
Exactly.
we've been through this with the Jets before at a safety.
Yeah.
Right.
Where they said,
ago.
Right, where they say, yeah, we want you to stay a Jet for life, and yada yada yada, and we'll work out the deal. And next thing you know, he gets traded.
Right.
Marcus May is a good player. He's not. I was going to say that he's not great though.
No.
And if he's the best player on your team stinks, and that's management and the coach's fault.
Right. So why would you franchise him? And this is where, again, I always say I don't really trust Joe Douglas, because to be quite honest with you, you could have got Marcus May's name on a contract last year, probably for about $8 million. And he would have been fine with that. Instead you franchise him for 10 when you probably could have got him for 8. All right. If you had done it last year, especially once Jamal Adams left. If you had approached him once Jamal Adams left and offered him $7 to $8 million, again, coming off that rookie contract, he'd have probably jumped on it well ahead of time. See, this is where.
But Chandler, he was injured previously, and he hadn't had a really good year like he had last year.
Okay, but you're also in the business of developing players and projecting. You're also in the business of that as the general manager, of projecting what a player could be. Okay, and looking at what our player development is. We project that this guy, that's part of scouting too. Scouting is not just what a guy is. What is he going to be? All right.
Right.
And you make decisions based on that. All right.
He has to prove it again, like you said before.
But that's my point, though. If you're going to franchise a player, franchise tag is supposed to be for players that you cannot afford to get rid of, but right now can't afford to pay. You can afford to get rid of Marcus May.
Right. My friend Karina, she said they didn't expect COVID to happen, therefore they didn't feel the urgency to sign players of that caliber. I agree with that. And listen, Marcus May is Marcus
solid.
May. He's
solid. He's solid.
He's solid. He's not great. But going into the new year with the new coach, you're going to need some solid players, and he has to prove that he's better than what he was last year, and because he did have the expectation to have a high ceiling and be a good player.
But
I think what he is now is what he's going to be.
Right.
I agree.
This is where the NFL. I'm sorry, Tim. This is where the NFL always gets me so twisted, and that's why I can't be a fan of them, because this goes on every year with the NFL. You got guys that are here today, gone tomorrow, on this team, on that team. I mean, in some cases, I look at it now in other sports, especially basketball, where are the 1-year contracts totally out of the realm now? Get what you can for that year. If they don't want you next year, or somebody wants you more, because the NFL don't have guaranteed contracts to begin with. So if you keep doing this one and done, I think you'd be in a little better position. At least to market yourself.
Teams won't do that. They won't do it.
And it also Dom, it goes by position. Safety isn't a premium position in football. Many of them don't make top dollar. They make good money, but they don't make top dollar. Quarterbacks are people who get franchised a lot and get franchised for big money and get the big deal. Linebackers and defensive ends. That's the tier. It starts quarterback, wide receiver, defensive end, and linebacker.
Yeah.
But going back to what Chandler said, where ownership won't do it. Well, maybe it's time that the tables get flipped, because how many times have we heard?
Hold on, fellas. Marshall, you gotta you gotta do something with the background noise. I'm gonna mute you and then bring you back.
I didn't know I had any background noise, but okay.
How many times do we hear the team say, we're going to sign R. Jones to a 2-year deal, but only 1 year is guaranteed? Mm-hmm. So why not the player just say, I just want a 1-year deal? Because look what what's the name just did, J.J. Watts. That's really only a 1-year deal.
Right, but when
you look at it in the totality, he basically got a 1-year deal.
Yeah, but it's the salary cap ramifications. The reason that they sign him to multi-year deals so they can spread the money out over multiple years. So the salary cap hit for that year is a lower number. Like, I know we'll get to him, but Dak's salary cap hit for this coming season is only $22 million, even though he's getting paid X amount of dollars. And that's why the teams won't sign, or very rarely will teams sign guys to a 1-year deal, because then all of the money is on the cap that year. It's basically it's a shell game with the salary cap. Call it whether it's a shell game with the salary cap.
Just like some players, like somebody posted in the group that Tom Brady he gave up a lot of money and yada yada yada, but really he made a lot of money because they gave him a salary, but then they gave him a bunch of bonuses so that he could make as much as some of the top tier players.
Right.
And that's part of the shell game, which you were talking about.
Right. You know? And if you really look at it, especially like a Brady contract, most of them bonuses was, I'm not going to say easily achievable, but they were very achievable.
Of course.
Okay, we know he's going to do A, B, C. But again, like y'all are saying, with the shell game, with the salary cap, you can't knock their hustle, and you can't knock Tom Brady's hustle, because that post somebody had on there was excellent. You know, people are bitching, how does he keep winning? Well, if you want to spend all your money on one position and then only have, 70, 68% of your salary cap left to play with, this is the position you're in. Mm-hmm. So you can't knock the Patriots' hustle. You can't knock Tom Brady's hustle. He did it, and the teams he played for did it the right way. According to you guys with this shell game, it's that was slick.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, the Patriots set him down. Listen, Tom, we're gonna pay you, but we're not gonna pay you. We're gonna pay you X amount salary, X amount bonuses. Like he gets a roster bonus. He gets a signing bonus, which sometimes they stretch out over years, but it's still a bonus.
Right.
We get a bonus if we go to the playoffs. You're gonna get some money for that. Right. You're gonna get money if we go to the Super Bowl. So he really has always made over 20 to 30 million in some years from the Patriots. And I think some of the bonuses don't count against the cap, and that's part of the shell game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Well, yes, sir, Mr. Mark, Mr. Max, 611.
Yeah. Anything else on the Jets? We're gonna move on.
Yeah, you know where we got to get to, because Marshall's here.
Yeah. Thank you.
We will. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Marshall, try to unmute your mic, because I tried.
Yeah, he just unmuted himself.
Okay, can you hear me okay? I've got headphones in.
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they franchise tag wide receiver Chris Godwin. And also they have pending moves to make on free agents, Shaq Barrett and Lavonte David. They're 2 linebackers. What are your thoughts on these moves that they need to make and the moves that they made on tagging the wide receiver?
That was stupid. Listen, okay, Chris Godwin, listen, he's a really good wide receiver when he's available, which he's not always available. He's hurt a lot. As they went down the stretch, he got kind of minimized in that offense with Brady. Listen, Shaq Barrett, you need Shaq Barrett, okay? Right. You don't need Chris Godwin because you can replace Chris Godwin. All right, let's be honest. You can get you another Chris Godwin. You ain't a lot of Shaq Barretts out there walking the street, bro.
No.
I would have franchised Shaq Barrett, and I would have said to Chris Godwin, listen, man, you ain't getting $20 million from us. All right, we'll give you 15, maximum 17. If you can get 20 from somebody else, God bless you. Okay, and we'll go get another wide receiver.
Hell yeah, yo, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. What he just said, I was gonna say that damn near the same thing, man. I can't even front. You know, that's why I started cracking up.
Yeah. Go ahead, on.
I don't need to add on. He just pretty much nailed it for me.
Anybody else, Marshall?
Yeah, I was just going to say there's nothing else for me to say.
Right. I know Marshall's the person who posted in our group, the real In the Paint Media group on Facebook. Please go there, join us. Go ahead, Marshall. What are your thoughts on what the Buccaneers are doing?
Still there?
He's unmuted. But you know what?
Maybe he was driving. I don't know.
No, I'm not driving. It's just not. Something's.
Don't tell me.
I'm gonna have to hang on and do something here. I don't know.
Okay.
No, I think.
Hello, y'all hear me?
Yeah,
I hear you. We hear you.
Okay,
we can hear you.
I thought it froze for a moment.
Oh Lord!
You ain't done that in a long time.
No,
right?
I'm straight.
That's back in 2020.
Yeah, that would qualify as a throwback for sure.
COVID didn't help Mark.
Right.
Considering he's been on lockdown for the last 3 months.
Exactly.
This guy. Anyway, Chris Godwin had a solid year last year, but again, he didn't play the full season. He played 12 games. Previous year, he played 14.
Okay. So he's down too.
He's always dinged up. And this is his second year of him having like a really, really good season. So I'm with Chandler. 20 million? I don't think so, homie.
No.
Take this 16 for 3 years. Yeah. And we'll give you a nice bonus.
Call it a day. Just call it a day. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, man.
Right. But
that's why there was no need for me to even add on because he pretty much nailed it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, damn, what can I add on?
Right.
You know?
And going forward, Shaq Barrett is one of the cornerstones of your defense. So
for sure.
You need to give him a long-term deal.
Exactly. If you're going to tag anybody, you should have tagged him and worked on a goddamn deal for him. That's just what it is. You understand?
They could have let him walk and paid, what's his name, Antonio Brown, half that, and he'd have just been happy to have been playing.
You better believe it.
Exactly. You know,
you better believe
it. It's crazy because you tag Shaq Barrett and you say, "Listen, we know we tag you. We know you want a long-term deal.
Yep.
We gonna get you your money. Work with us because once you tag him, now you got time to negotiate. Work with us while we finagle some other things, get rid of some people, make some draft picks. But listen, we want you here. You're gonna get your money, okay? Right. Now, so far, the management team in Tampa Bay has been as honest with players as teams are. You know how that goes. But when they told the guy they're gonna pay him, they paid them. So they have some credibility there. So Shaq Barrett, all right, as long as I'm going to get my money, I'm good. And again, there's going to be wide receivers out there, man, because teams are going to be cutting guys left and right because the bad organizations don't know how to manage their cap. So there's going to be good players on the market. All right, don't get it twisted. It's going to be really good players on the market. The teams can't afford to pay them. You can replace Chris Godwin is replaceable.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
The defense won you a Super Bowl, not your offense.
Right.
The offense was good. The defense was great in that Super Bowl.
Actually, the replacement is sitting on their roster. That young kid who was blowing up offense, who was blowing up defenses.
Yep.
Towards the end of last year, I can't call his name.
Scotty Miller, was that his name?
Maybe, but
he was the guy. He was the long ball threat, the home run hitter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'd be like, I tell Chris Godwin, I tell him to do the I'll be sure. You off on your own, boy.
Hell, you could get Golden Tate for half of what you go give Chris Godwin.
Like I said, you could get Antonio Brown with all the games that Antonio Brown missed.
Oh, they have Antonio Brown. But
I don't think he's under contract.
You could re-sign him.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's two people.
And
he's better than Godwin.
And not just that, all the games he missed, he's basically a year and a half behind actual playing time. So he's still got some sort of, and you got him for half the price.
Right.
I don't get that. They need that linebacker. Again, like Chandler said, franchise tag him, Goodwin walks, you sign Brown, and let's move on.
Right, and you also re-signed Lavonte David on a nice contract because he's 30 years old. He's been with y'all for a while, but he is solid, and he's a piece you still need. So I give him somewhere between 12 million.
You get the three. You get the 3 for 1. You get 3 players.
Maybe an option year.
Yep.
Give him a nice signing bonus.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a culture setter. You want to keep your culture setters. And this shows the rest of the guy gets the buy-in from the rest of the guys. So we know football players are sheep. Okay. So if they see one guy get the franchise loves us, I'm gonna stay forever. Yeah, okay, bro. but you got to keep your culture setters. So listen, man. Sometimes some of these GMs are just too smart for their own damn good. They're too smart for their own damn good.
Right. And listen, they're probably the team to beat in the NFC.
Yeah. Speaking of getting beat, I can't wait till we get to that Cowboy thing because
that's right now.
Did that backfire?
That boy got paid.
Well, I didn't I tell y'all? Didn't Max say that? Didn't Max say for weeks, months, almost a year and a half that Dak was going to get paid?
The minister of misinformation. What's he have to say about it?
He's gone. I hope his computer is flogged with all type of viruses and Trojans because he's a clown. Yes, I said that, and your people could tell him I said, yes, Max said he's a clown, and he is gone. What do y'all think about Dallas re-signing, or rather signing Dak Prescott to the multi-year deal?
So happy for Dak. Because you know what? He played Jerry Jones like teams have been playing players forever. He stood up and said, "You know what? I'm good. You want to franchise tag me? Okay, I'm not just going." Because most times we've seen players that had the leverage he had. We've seen them cave because they're afraid to miss a check. They're afraid. Well, what if I get hurt? They're afraid. And Jack was like, "Okay, well, the worst thing that can happen is I'm gonna get $37 million. And then if you tag me again, it's like 45. Or you gotta let me be a free
No, the first one was 30.
No, but I'm saying
32. The second one will be 37.
Right. So the worst thing that could have happened was you got to give me 37. And then after this season, if you tag me again, it goes up even more than that. Or you got to pay me. You got to pay me and give me the years I wanted. 126 million guaranteed, bro. 66 million when he signs his name. $66 million check. Here you go, man. Listen, Jerry Jones got everything he deserved for all the crap that he's done to players. And I'm like a father figure. Dak said, "Nah, I got a father. I'm good. You're my employer. You're not my dad. Give me my money."
So now to the important question.
Right.
Did it make Dallas better? Because again, for you football guys, I did a little research, and we're all proud that Zach got his money. But here's the "Did you know" segment of the show. Did you know Dak Prescott is 7-18 over the last 4 seasons versus teams over 500?
Okay, but how many points did they score, and how many points did the defense give up?
The point I'm getting at, guys, is again, did they get better? Because with the makeup they had, I'm just talking about Dak Prescott since he got the money.
Right.
Is he gonna make them better? We can go wheels on the bus of they need this, they need that, they need this.
Dom, he can only do so much. He can only do so much.
That's why
you understand. They got problems. They have problems. They need to fix. And I said this on Facebook. They need to fix their trenches, both sides.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Yes.
That's without question. Dak has nothing to do with that. You understand? Once they fix both sides of the line, you know what I'm saying? If they could accomplish that, you know, because and this is like a could be a financial handicap. You understand? If you really look at it on a broader scale, yes, no, don't say yes, don't say no.
It's very. His contract is very front loaded. He got 160 million, 126 million guaranteed.
Okay.
$66 million signing bonus. He makes $75 million this year, and he has a no trade clause.
And that has no bearing on the cap whatsoever.
No, well, the cap hit is only $22 million for this year. His cap is only $22 million because of the shell game. But here's the thing, though. They've had opportunity. They had 4 years of him making less than $1 million. Okay, they had 4 years of him making less than $1 million. So now that they paid him, now and I'm not talking about you, Don, but now you guys people. But he took so much of the cap. How we gonna get better? You had 4 years to get better. You had 4 years.
But hold on. They did invest around him. He has 3 solid wide receivers.
Okay.
They paid Amari Cooper.
What about the defense, Mark?
They paid Amari Cooper. They drafted CeeDee Lamb. So the other wide receiver, whether they sign him and whether they keep him or not, he can be an asset because they could probably trade him or let him walk. They gave the Ewok money. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott. They gave him his money.
Which I think was foolish, but okay.
Well, they gave him his money early. And like Chandler said, they do need to address things on the defensive side of the ball. They also need to address the offensive line because when they transitioned from Romo to him, the offensive line was still solid. The offensive line isn't anymore. It aged out. Guys got injured, and guys had to leave because of the salary cap.
Mac, let me groove kill you for a second.
I'm gonna let you.
Thank you very much. You talk about Ezekiel Elliott. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, and you guys may call me crazy. I'm thinking he's not that good now. He's not.
He's still good.
No.
But they also have a good. They also have a solid backup, which they also drafted.
Well, we're gonna see. I think we're gonna be seeing more of him, the backup, in action than Ezekiel. To be perfect. I'm not even joking. I'm dead ass.
Right. Running backs age. So my final point, I wanted to say that last year, how did it look when Dak went down with the injury? They sucked. The QB, that redhead guy that R doesn't like, he sucked.
But I think
which also played into Dak's favor because Dallas fans are probably sitting there going, "Yo, you got to pay him." But some fans don't like him, and Marshall is back.
But here's the thing I wanted to say, because again, I resort back to you guys. Wasn't it just a minute ago that the Cowboys' defense was highly touted? They had all this defense.
It has always been.
Right. And that's the reason, and I'm with R, with the money for Elliott. That was their goal. Since their defense was so good, Elliott could take the air out the ball with his running. Like you said, Mark, they had a good offensive line. But through all of that, he still had that record as a starting quarterback against winning teams. And think about this, guys. How many games did he win last year before he got hurt? 1?
They were 2-3.
I think 1 against the Giants.
They were 2-3.
Yeah. So
where they scored over 30, they scored over 32 points in those games, but gave up close to 40. So we can talk about the offense all day long. We can talk about the offense all day long. At the end of the day, your defense was last across the board. Oh, and by the way, even though that defense has been highly touted the past few years, they still really weren't that good. I mean, we had those conversations with Ronan many a time.
And Marshall.
And Marshall, where the defense wasn't as good as the rest of the team. And then you brought in that ancient fossil Mike Nolan, okay, when you had 8 million pass rushes, but you couldn't get to the quarterback. You had 75 linebackers, but you couldn't stop the run. You had 63 cornerbacks, okay, but nobody can cover a wide receiver. At the end of the day, I don't care who. Listen, Deshaun Watson is looked at as some great top 5 quarterback. His team won 4 games. Okay, but I keep hearing how Deshaun Watson had a great season. His team won 4 games. Let's stop moving the goalposts.
So my question still is: did they get better? Are they going to be better?
Yes, we're bringing him back. Yes, because last year after Dak went down, their offense sucked. And before,
that's what an asterisk.
No, before he went down with injury, he was one of the top quarterbacks, and he was going to exceed the previous year statistically what he did.
Like I said, with an asterisk. But go ahead, Dave.
Well, here's the thing that I'd ask is how much better do they have to be in that division? That's the division
that wasn't okay.
You know, but I will say this, because I get off it because I'm not really big into it. I'm happy for the young man. He got his money. That franchise thing is a beast. You know, I don't really understand all of it, but I wish I could go to my job and ask them franchise me and get all that money. And if I ask them, they probably tell me go back to Popeyes.
Wow. Oh my God!
Wow.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Wait, where is Marshall? Is your mic live, bro? I think your mic is live. Huh?
Can
you hear me?
You started talking.
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Start talking.
What's going to happen is now that Dak has been signed, they're going to have to go to they're going to have to really help the defense as far as in the draft and then make some moves. But I think also too, they had Mike Nolan defense. Doubted. I'm sorry. It was
Marshall, you're fading in and out.
I want to say it wasn't Chicago Bear-like or the Legion of Boom. Might be my internet connection. I'm on Chrome because that's the only way I could get this to work.
Oh, okay.
Continue talking, bro.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. But I mean, it was very good when Marinelli stepped down or they got rid of him or whatever, and then they brought in the new coach with McCarthy, and then they brought the defensive coordinator Nolan from San Francisco. And I think he just flat sucked. But of course, then again, you know, the team was a train wreck, allowed a lot of points, and certainly health issues. And one of those that I mentioned on Twitter with Mac was Sean Lee, and unfortunately, Sean Lee, love him to death, but his health issues is one of the reasons he's got to go. If he wants to coach, I'm okay with this, but there needs to be some defense. Again, I don't think they have to be like how Tampa was, but you know, shore up the defense and make stops when you need to. You certainly can win the division, and then we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But again, this was the right call because, as I noted many times, who else were they going to get as far as a quarterback? If you didn't pay Dak, someone else was going to. Maybe Jacksonville, maybe somebody else was going to sign Dak Prescott if the Cowboys didn't. And then it was, New England might have even looked at him, possibly. I don't know, but it's a possibility. I mean, so again, the team's got to get better as far as on the defensive side of the ball because the offense and of course the offensive line has been a little bit suspect because there's some injuries on there with Tyron Smith because, well, he can't stay healthy either.
I feel you. Again, I'm going to throw this on. Like I said, I can't get off this whole See, the thing, I can't get off this Ezekiel Elliott thing. This is bothering me. I'm not gonna lie to you. You understand? Everybody wants to talk about Dak. Let me say this: if Ezekiel isn't productive in this coming season, and they have to rely on a backup, and he's like, okay, and people talk about, but they re-signed 3 wide receivers or whatnot. So we're gonna ask Dak to become like the Patrick Mahomes of the NFC. And rely on his own. I guess. So, really, we're going to rely on that, and is that going to bring them success? That's my question.
Or if you look at it, last season, that's exactly what they were going to do. Last season was the first real season where they let Dak, listen, Dak, throw us to a win. Okay, I mean, he was 2 weeks after he got injured, he was still leading the league in passing yards. That's how much he was throwing the ball. Right. So if we're gonna spin it forward. Mike McCarthy has never been a coach that ran the ball a lot. Okay. He's got pass first, pass second, pass third, pass on 4th down, pass on 5th down. Maybe I'll run the ball on 6th down.
Right. Gotcha.
Yes, this is now an offense predicated around passing the ball, and then we will run the ball to keep you honest. So all Ezekiel Elliott has to do is be good.
And he's also effective in the passing game. Guys caught 90 passes before, so
Okay. So, I just wanted to bring that up. You know what I'm saying? I really did.
So you're telling me that the Cowboys are going to be like the Yankees? They're going to hit home runs until they get to the playoffs.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. I just had to thought that possibility. That's all.
Yeah, you know, it's what the Jets did. Remember Mark Sanchez with the Jets? Remember how the Jets got rid of it and was like, Mark Sanchez, throw us to a win. And Mark Sanchez was like, yeah, but I'm not. That's not who I am. Now I think Jack can be a guy who throws you to a win. But again, like Marshall said, if the Cowboys defense is middle of the pack this season, they'll win 10. They'll win 10 games easy.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You know.
Anybody else want to add anything about Dak Prescott?
Hell no.
I just got to say one thing. I told y'all.
Here we go.
I said.
Here we go. The pat on the back.
And Ronan,
pat on the back.
Marshall, I love y'all like brothers, but y'all are cow turd fans because I hate the Cowboys. And I kept it 100 with y'all because that's how I do, even though I hate the cow turds. Hate them. Remember, Mac was right.
Y'all had me at.
He wasn't. You were right.
Y'all had me at Dave. Y'all had me at Dave saying they're gonna win their division. I was done after that. I was just trying to stay awake.
That's funny.
To Dom's point about him having a losing record against 500 teams, overall, he is 42-27, and he has a winning record against the Giants.
Oh wow!
And the Redskins. I think he's about even with the Eagles.
Double wow, triple wow, wow. Go. Hey, what did you say again? Wait, hold on. Let me look at them. What did you say again, Dave? They're going to win their division. Okay.
I said they don't have to be that good to win it. They don't have to be that good to win it. That's all I'm saying.
Just solidify that.
Hell, they could put all 7-8 of us on their roster and we beat the Giants.
They almost won the division last year.
Yeah,
without
real talk, exactly.
We'll put Angry R at linebacker because he likes to hit people.
Yes, I do.
And since Mark is bragging and boasting, y'all remember, and I'm not even a football fan. I told y'all last year, man, 6 wins is going to win that division, and I think 7 wins won.
You said that.
Yeah,
you did say it.
Yeah,
ain't this some shit?
Pretty much on point, brother. Pretty much on point.
7
exactly.
Wins.
Yeah, like I said,
I think 8 will do it this year.
Yeah, right.
Let's move on because Dom was in our text Yo, I don't want to talk about no goddamn football.
Okay.
Football. Yeah.
And then Mark said then R said nobody's going to be on with Mark. So I said, let me help out.
Yeah, because I wasn't.
I didn't think I was going to be able to get on early, but I was able to get on.
I wasn't even sure about myself, to be honest. Right. But okay.
Yeah. Let's move on to the NBA. Big move. The Brooklyn Nets.
Let me just show you this. I got this. So last year, this time, I went to Nets game, and it was actually March 6th, and they were giving out this. This is an official Dr. J.
Nice.
But it is also Marvel Black Panther Dr. J. So he's got the Black Panther.
Okay.
That's what they gave us as a parting gift before.
Right. That's what's up.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I hear somebody clearing their throat. Oh boy.
It's some monkey nuts.
Yeah,
exactly.
The Brooklyn Nets have signed power forward Blake Griffin. Are the Nets wrong for trying to buy a title? And I'm gonna let the Bishop lead it off because he's so salty.
Yeah,
let's get the salt out the
salty monkey nuts.
Go ahead, Bishop. Floor is yours.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Oh, Jesus.
So, first and foremost, I just want to say, assembling a paper roster does not win a title. They still got to play games.
Point.
The signing did absolutely nothing to make the team better. They still have a deficit. They still have a defensive deficit. They still don't have a starting center. And they still don't have an identity. Like, it's like, okay, so we're just going to outscore teams, and we see that doesn't work because the lowest echelon teams are able to beat you. So I'm wondering how they're going to be getting out of the East. If
like that West Coast trip. Gotcha. What else you got?
But they got to get out of the East first.
What else you got?
Get out of the East first.
What else you got?
The games that they were playing on the West Coast, the teams that they were playing, they had COVID they had COVID protocol. They also had like significant injuries, but I would think by the time playoff time come around, those wins won't be coming that easy. And again, they still got to get out of the East before they can start thinking about playing for a title. Bro, and that's all I got to say about that.
Bro, go ahead, R. Flame him. Bro, and let him. Hold on, R. And let him talk, Bishop. Go ahead, R. Floor is yours.
No, he could interrupt me all he wants. He could do the groove kill thing too on me if he wants. But that's okay because I'm not gonna pay his ass. No, of course not. No, but of course I'm still gonna keep talking anyway. You understand what I'm saying? First of all, let's get this out the way. You might as well come out the closet and just cross over. Let's get that out the way. Let's just get that out the way. Let's just knock that out the way, bro, because you are seriously bugging. You're mad. Very salty mad. You need to stop. Just come to the realization that's it. That's who's representing the East. Fuck Philadelphia. Fuck. But who's that's right. That's right. Whoa is right. Whoa is right. Yo, fuck all them teams, and that's what's gonna happen. You're just mad. You're mad. So all this paper roster stuff that you went throwing out you got the game's got to be played. Yeah, yada yada yada. Just come out the closet and root for Brooklyn. I got you. I got you.
Let me ask you one question. You want
a shirt? I got you. Don't worry about it.
Let me ask you.
Hold on. After you drop those bombs, I had to disassociate myself and remove my camera because I can't be I'm a good Christian young man. I can't be associated with any
Facebook fellas.
I'm just saying, knock it off, dude. I got you. You want a shirt? You want a hat? Like I said, I got you. I'll get you a pennant too. Okay, you ain't gotta come out your pocket. I got you, son.
So the problem that you're gonna have here is like, your main three guys, the main three guys that you got on the team, None of them have ever rep on their own. None of them.
You need to stop.
None of them. James Harden, great player. I told you guys that he would fit in seamlessly because he's capable of doing whatever he wants to do on the basketball court. And he got robbed of MVP twice because Giannis sucks. He still sucks. He's still shooting air balls from the free throw line.
That's something we could agree on. Okay.
So, and when I said that before, you guys said I was crazy. But James Harden,
say that.
He got robbed of the MVP title twice. And Kevin Durant, he's good.
Go say something.
He's good.
Yeah, say something. Go ahead.
He's good. He's shooting 50% from the field, but he's never represented on his own. And Kyrie, oh my goodness, who knows what you're gonna get with Kyrie? Who knows what you're gonna get with Kyrie?
That's the only.
So you got a lot of background noise.
Yeah, you got a lot of background.
I'm about to mute myself. All right.
You banking a title. You banking a title on those that have not, throughout their careers, have not proven themselves to be that guy.
Okay.
They don't have to be.
Thank you.
They don't have to be.
Thank you.
The beauty of this. See, the hate is strong in this one.
Say that again, Chandler. Could you say that again, please?
The hate is strong in this one because they don't have to do it by themselves. They are literally, and I've watched these games and I've watched them beat good teams because, by the way, they have a winning record against good teams and they're starting to beat the bad teams. And that was just going to take time and people getting used to each other and guys being in and out. But the reality is, each one of them is in the perfect role for this team in this system. Harden is the facilitator. Kyrie gets to play shooting guard. Kevin Durant gets to beat Kevin Durant, which means that he can take 15 shots to get you 45 points. That's what Kevin Durant does. He's very efficient. He makes his shots, this and that. You got Joe Harris shooting the lights out. You got Luwabu Cabaret, TLC. Because I'm butchering his name, so I'm just gonna say TLC. That kid's playing well. The kid Brown is playing well. Now I don't know how they're gonna fit Blake Griffin in. If Blake Griffin has a role to just be a guy, because he can still rebound. He doesn't have to be the Blake Griffin from the Clippers. He can just be a guy who comes in, plays the four, gives them some size. But the reality is, the only question I have about the Nets is the coach, and I've watched the coach make some incremental improvements as the season is going on. So at the end of the day, to say that it's some fait accompli that the Nets aren't going to get out of the East, you just don't want to accept what the reality is, and that's fine because I'm with you there. I'm that petty. I can look at somebody like, I don't care. Dude, it's a truck coming. I don't care it's a truck coming. I don't think that's a truck. I get hit by the truck. You got hit by a truck. No, I didn't. The truck didn't hit me.
Which your takes on RJ Barrett.
Exactly.
But keep going.
You know what I'm saying? So I get it, but at the end of the day, if you look at the Eastern Conference, okay, outside of Philly, and let's be honest, who really trusts Philly, there's not a team in the Eastern Conference that the Nets have to worry about.
Really?
I will say, let
Dom talk.
First of all, I was getting ready to go get my charger when Chandler turned into hating the hater. I was done. I couldn't even talk. That's why I turned my camera on. When the ultimate hater turns on a hater, that's some shit. But that's the point, though. The Eastern Conference, and I think I said this to R before, I had a feeling the Nets would win the East because not that I placed the Nets head and shoulders above everybody. I just don't trust nobody else in the East.
Right.
I don't trust Doc Rivers. I don't care who Doc Rivers has. I don't trust him. He's been known to choke. That's his MO. I don't care who he has on his team. He did it with 3 other teams. This will be his 3rd team if he chokes this shit. He's done it 3 times with 2 teams. So his record is garbage to me. He's highly overrated. And then you look at the team they have, and then you look at Boston, who has the same record as the Knicks. So if you want to put Boston in the mix, then you got to put the Knicks in the mix, and the Knicks waxed them by 30 points. The Knicks waxed Milwaukee by 20 or vice versa. They beat one by 30, one by 20. And these are the guys that we're saying can possibly stop another team in the East.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So hold on, Bishop. Dom, go ahead from the West Coast.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, the Nets is bringing that championship home to y'all.
Thank you.
Y'all just have to get off this Knicks thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, please accept it, man.
Yep. So Dom,
even if AD comes back healthy,
mm-hmm.
the Nets got this.
Yeah. So Dom, is it wrong for the Nets for trying to buy a title?
No, because Miami done it, Golden State done it, the Boston Celtics done it. I mean, how many teams?
In history, in NBA history, every team at some point has done something like this.
Yes, I think we need to just accept things for what it is, because this is not big. Blake Griffin was out there to be picked up. So if the bad teams don't want him, well, the Nets want him. And he wants to go to Brooklyn anyway, so boom, it happens. I mean, just look at it. You got Andre Drummond out there and DeMarcus Cousins out there. If they don't get picked up by one of these teams, then why would we sit here and get mad at the Nets?
Right.
My take is this, in regards to, is it wrong for buying a title? We got Yankee fans on the line, so we've been accustomed here in New York to the Yankees forever buying championships.
There you go.
That's right.
Now,
spend that money.
I know that's
Spend that
baseball, but I'm not mad at the Nets for getting Blake Griffin, and I'm a Knicks fan. I don't really like the Nets, but the Nets are the team to beat in the East. Plain and simple.
The bigger thing is, guys, and it's not against the Nets thing. To me, as a fan, the bigger picture is here's a league that has been suffering with ratings, money. People don't realize this. Their ratings have gone down for the last 7-8 years. So is this? And I'm not knocking nobody's hustle, because like you said, Mark, I'm a Yankee fan. I enjoyed us outspending people. But it didn't make baseball any better. And this ain't making the NBA any better. You got teams that you go into the season saying, you know what? This season's over. In a normal year, guys, not COVID. This season's over in January. Yeah, their seasons, there's plenty of them, Mark. There's probably 14 teams that are in that boat. So to me as a fan, guys, other than being a Knicks fan, as just being an NBA fan, I've started losing, my luster in it, just like with the All-Star game. It is what it is. You're going to have all of this season and then add some corny play-in series. The season's long enough. You add this goofy shit in there to try to make money. And too many teams are losing money, and too many teams ain't even in the making. Like I said, if this wasn't a COVID season, what are we in, March? Yeah, we're in March. 14 teams would be saying their year is over, and they still got to play till May. So is it making the NBA better? It made the Nets better, and I'm not knocking their hustle. Trust me, I'm not. But the big picture is it hurting the NBA?
So I hear what everybody's saying, and it's all great. It's all clickbait and everything like that, but they haven't won shit yet. And on top of it, it's like, who do you have at the helm? So you have a first-time head coach and an assistant coach who has consistently failed throughout his career with all of the teams that he's gotten, and they're using the same philosophy. Outscore teams. So you guys are making it seem like it's a foregone conclusion.
Yo, son.
They've won stuff.
Son,
it's like,
you need to knock it off, yo. You need to knock it off. Your hate and your assault.
We'll have this conversation. We'll have this conversation again, because everybody's riding. Everybody's riding the
your assault game is ridiculous.
The 10-game winning streak
is ridiculous. Your assault game is ridiculous. You need to just chill out.
Hey, I just want to say this, right?
You need to chill. Hold on, Don. He needs to chill and put some extra adhesive tape across his mouth and whatnot, because you sounded ridiculous.
Well, because I don't agree. Hold
Hold on, Mr. Dad, though.
I just want to say this: Brooklyn did prove me wrong. I mean, we have to admit this. Admit to it because we always talking crap, saying Kyrie got issues, KD, and now you put Harden in. Yo, this offense is flawless to me, man. Yep. I don't care nobody.
I agree with Bishop to an extent. They don't have defense, and at some point, at some point, is maybe in the playoffs where they score 130 and the other team scores 135.
Well, again, that's not true. But again, being a numbers guy, there's only a handful of teams, the Knicks being one of them, that hold their opponent under 104 points.
Thank you. Exactly.
That's only, and the Knicks are number one at that. Right. So the NBA guys, unless you miss the boat, the NBA is not a defensive league anymore.
No, it
isn't.
You
hear that shit all the time. Oh, they got a good team, but Mark can shoot, but he can't play defense. 95% of the NBA don't play defense. It's proven. No team in the last 3-4 years has held their opponent under 100. And the Knicks are leading with 103.7 this year.
You might as well
consider league, guys.
As a matter of fact, let me piggyback on that. You might as well consider the regular season like a everyday All-Star game.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard to watch, though. That's why I can't watch it, though, because it is
exactly, Dave. Exactly, Dave.
Well, you know why you can't watch it? And I was thinking about this, and I think me and Chandler had a discussion. When they changed the rules to speed up the offenses and speed up the game, like making it 10 seconds to get the ball across half court instead of 12 that it was before, and in other moves in the half court, when you get a rebound, it goes back to 12. You don't get a full, or it goes back to 16. You don't get a full 14 off a rebound. Yeah, 14. So the game is very sloppy because guys are rushing to shoot. Like the Jamal Murray play. I want to slap the shit out of him because, homie, you had a 2-on-1 break, which turned into a 3-on-1 break, and then a 4-on-1 break, and y'all missed.
A 3-pointer.
That should have been the layup, and they went for a 2-point. I mean, a 3-pointer.
And it's because the game is sped up. It's sloppy. They're looking to shoot threes instead of sometimes taking layups, or it's a real sloppy game.
So let me ask this question though. Going back to the Nets. So the question that was posed was, are the Nets wrong for trying to buy a title? And I want to ask this question: if the Nets don't win, would it be a waste of? Do they waste their money this year, or can they have a successful year without winning the title? I think they can.
Well, it's their first year together. Super big three, and
then we'll have that conversation again about chemistry and it was our first year together. It was our first year together. We got to get accustomed to, who's going to do this and who's going to do that.
But Bishop, look. I like the Knicks. I like the Knicks. I like the Nets. I just don't like Kyrie. But my point about the Nets is I think that what they have done is they have given themselves set the bar high, giving themselves the opportunity to be a team that is not a laughing stock. Of course, teams like the Nets were always that sub basement type of team. Nobody wanted to come to when they were in Jersey and now Brooklyn, but so I think it's good in the sense of New York having that second team that we're talking about New York basketball.
Right.
And the Knicks are excited. They
got an owner who's not afraid to spend money, and
that's right.
Yeah, so I'm not
like,
mad.
Like you said, the Nets have been nomadic throughout their history, moving from
Long
Island, moving to Long Island, moving to Jersey, now moving to Brooklyn. They're trying to solidify a home and also make money, but also win a title.
So let me just drop this last nugget on y'all because Let me just drop this last nugget on y'all, and I'm just giving you something to ponder about. So out of those big three that they got, who's stoppable on that team?
Who's what?
Who's stoppable out of the big three? Who's stoppable? Which one is more susceptible to be stopped?
No.
Kyrie is susceptible to be stopped. Milwaukee's proven that.
Kyrie stops himself.
Milwaukee has proven that all of the teams that they faced, that he's faced, where he's had to be that guy, he's stoppable. He's guardable.
But he doesn't have to be the. But Bishop. I don't mean to cut you off, but he doesn't have to be the guy, because in those situations where he was stoppable, if you're going to put all your emphasis on stopping Kyrie, then what are you going to do about Harden and Durant? You can't
You give Durant 35. You give Harden 35. That's 70 points.
I think they could still win. I don't think you're going to totally shut Kyrie down. Kyrie, like to Mac's point, Kyrie shuts himself down when he starts thinking too much that he's better than what he is and playing outside of the scheme of the game. But I'm not saying they're not beatable. Don't get me wrong, everybody's beatable. Yeah. But I don't think that you're looking at it from, let me shut down Kyrie and I can beat the Nets. I think they're better than that.
And you still have Harris. You still have TLC. Their bench is going to give them 30 to 35 points. So,
and Chandler, remember, they don't have Spencer Dinwiddie either.
Right, but what I'm saying is their bench is still giving them really good production. Like I said, Joe Harris is shooting the lights out right now because he's always open. Okay, and he's a knockdown shooter. Listen, if the Nets get out of the East and don't win a championship, this is a tremendously successful season. If they get the Eastern Conference Finals, go 7 games and happen to lose, it's a very successful season based on the expectations of people for them to implode and not play well. Oh, and by the way, the thing with D'Antoni, listen, we have said this for years, that D'Antoni should just be an assistant, not a head coach, because the only thing he's good at is diagramming offense. Yeah. So now he's finally in a position he needs to be in. Again, I don't know whether Steve Nash is able to make adjustments and things in the playoffs because he hasn't been there yet. We'll find that out. But if Steve Nash can make a couple of adjustments in a 7-game series as they go on, kind of like we saw Nick Nurse do. We didn't know about Nick Nurse till they got in the playoffs. We saw him make those adjustments once he got Kawhi. We saw him make the adjustments, right? We saw him literally out-coach people. If Steve Nash can do that, just make a couple of adjustments, this team has as good a shot to win as any team that we talk about realistic chances, which is right now Utah, LA, and the Nets. I don't know. Those are the 3.
And Chandler.
And Milwaukee.
Man, yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I am saying that. And Chandler, let me just say this real quick, brother. Chandler, I think you're right. Not only that, I do have the confidence in Steve Nash because, as you said earlier, incrementally he's been improving as a coach. Why would that stop? Why would that stop? Yeah, you can blow air all you want.
Everything looks good. Everything looks good when you win it.
Well, you know what? I understand. It all looks good. I understand. Yeah. Just come over the other side of the pond. Just like that'll solve the problem.
Get on the bridge. Just take that drive across the bridge.
Yeah, get on the bridge. It's
like
cool.
I told the bridge goes both ways. You can go back and forth.
I just have to point out when Bishop was talking before and you let out the Jamaican teeth suck. I wish we could have saw your face. I could just imagine your face when you started.
I tell you, man, he's crazy.
Yo, let's move on.
Yes.
Today's NBA All-Star Weekend.
Oh God.
Let me just say that.
Oh God.
Over the years, like Dom has said before, the ratings weren't as good this year for All-Star Weekend, and for me, the game was good. The 3-point shooting contest was good. The skills contest, and the dunk contest was just not really good.
Well, we're missing out a certain thing too. Okay, if you're talking about the NBA All-Star Weekend, what's with these women in the U-Hauls and the vans?
Before I was going, I was going to, but on a serious note, because I was very concerned did those poor young ladies ever make their way home? Because I've saw some GoFundMe pages where they're stuck in Atlanta. Please send money. They can't get home. I didn't have enough money to make it home, and so I'm really concerned about that. But to R's point, some very enterprising young women have rented out U-Haul vans and so forth because they couldn't book hotel rooms.
Right.
I mean,
listen,
Dot's going to do what Dot's going to do.
Listen, the NBA weekend. Let me don't interrupt me, fellas. Let me get this off real quick. NBA weekend. If y'all didn't know, people out there, it's the Thought National and it's the Thought National.
That's
holiday.
right.
Amen.
Listen, they meet up. They set up meetings on how to break condoms and put holes in them.
They have workshops for them.
Yeah. They sit and watch the Ray J and Kim Kardashian Tate.
Yep.
Instructions on how to come up.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, the views that have previously been expressed in no way represent those in the Independent Media Group. They are the direct thoughts of the people expressing them. They in no way represent what we here at Independent Media Group stand for.
Well, before we get it back to respectability,
we keep it a buck. I know the Century Club was packed.
Oh hell yeah! I was trying to explain to my wife.
What's the club in Atlanta? What's the strip club in Atlanta?
Name one. Any of them. Yeah. I was trying to explain to my wife what this was all about, and she didn't understand. So the best way I could describe it is like Thotty Gras.
I love it.
He said Thotty Gras.
I love it. I love it.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Because I switched over. It goes back to what me and R said about them having a season last year. Now you fast forward to them having this fuckery of an all-star game. It's almost pathetic. First of all, it wasn't designed this way. It was designed where this was going to be their week off. No all-star game. They got hoodwinked into doing the all-star game. You throw this clown show out there. And this is what you get. And believe me, if anybody's watching or watches this in video, we're not knocking the city of Atlanta.
No.
It just is what it is. I mean, wrong place, wrong time, wrong event,
wrong city,
wrong time of year.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean about the NBA. They're getting to the point where they throw their laurels in the toilet.
But you know what? They had already planned on Atlanta beating the spot to have the All-Star game. It was their turn, and that was done way in advance, I think, before COVID. But
right. But Matt, they listen. I'm not giving the players a break here because the NBA Players Association is just as complicit in this. I don't want to hear. Like Bobby Portis on Twitter to me, we should just name this. I said, then your membership should have thought of that before you agreed to this money grab. See, I'm not giving the players a pass anymore because
they want their money.
Yeah, they are fully complicit in this money grab. So when some of these guys who played in this game wind up getting hurt and impacting playoff teams, or they wind up getting sick or whatever it is, because something's going to happen where somebody's going to tie you back to guys not getting their break that they were supposed to have after being off for 71 days and coming back to play NBA basketball. I'm not, listen, the players don't get a pass here. I didn't watch 1 second of this because it was trash, because it never should have happened. And I got these players to we shouldn't be playing. Then why did you vote to play? You're going to sit up there, LeBron James, or we shouldn't be playing, but yet you agreed to this because they took a vote, unless you're going to tell me that the union made an agreement without consulting its members, in which case they'd be violating federal law and they get to be decertified, which means that all of y'all said yes, and then you went out there and made these BS public statements. We shouldn't be playing, and but when they called you and said, "Yo, LeBron, we taking a vote. You want to play so we can get this money?" You like, yep. Shut up, all of you.
What does it mean? Right. What does it mean? I'll go back to R, because me and R was on this kick last year.
Yep.
And then when I brought up, I hate saying the word when I brought up, remember the deadline last year, guys, May 15th. Checks are going to stop. Nobody wanted to play. Damn the bubble. As soon as them checks stop, or we're going to stop, all of a sudden we have this bubble. And all these teams are now willing to go to the bubble. They threw safety in the toilet. They threw everything in the garbage. And thank God, guys, they struck gold. Nothing happened.
Nothing has happened really died. Too bad.
But they threw. But look at how many. But look, Mark, you look at this year alone. There are teams that have missed constant games because of COVID protocol.
Right.
So that means how long do we extend this out? Or do we say, okay, our team is so far out, we're going to miss. We're going to skip those 6 games they missed. There's no justification in this, guys, except money. Because y'all wanted a Nobel Peace Prize for last year, and then you flip the script and have everybody go to Atlanta for an All-Star game, when that wasn't part of the deal. The deal was this is a week off, and we're going to give everybody a chance to catch their breath, come back, because they're already playing a condensed schedule. They're almost back to the old days, back-to-back games every other day. They're already playing on a condensed schedule. And then you want to throw this garbage in there. And that's all the All-Star game is, guys. It's pure garbage. Whoever watches this, God bless you. I ain't knocking your hustle. It's pure garbage.
What bothers me?
It's a waste
What bothers me the most about this All-Star game is, again, these athletes run to brotherhood this and brotherhood that. Y'all spitting Carl Anthony Towns' face. He lost 7 members of his family to COVID. He lost 7 members of his family to COVID. And y'all basically said to him, screw you. We don't give a damn about you. Okay? It's about the money. So that's why I was really so upset about this All-Star weekend. And then you had these two-faced guys coming out talking about health and safety when you just spit in that man's face. So, you know what?
Well, so to that, I mean, you don't know what those 7 members of his family subjected to, or if they, were what their occupations were. You don't know that. So I don't think the NBA is responsible for that part. Some good that came out of it, yes, they had to do something. Some good that came out of it was, HBCUs got money. A lot of play. They got a lot of money. So, and they got a lot of play that they normally would not have gotten. So I gotta, while you can malign the league for this and for that, you gotta also tip your hat to them for taking the lead and pretty much being a trendsetter when it comes to issues that impact people of color. I'm not saying that they are the league that, is the BLM league. I'm not saying that, but I mean, as a sports league, I think that the NBA has done a pretty decent job with bringing these issues to the forefront and standing up and helping people take notice of it and saying, that is not okay. Now, as far as the product, that the All-Star product, that was just like a rush thing. Everything was in one day. It had to be something. I'm sure there was some kind of contractual thing with TV and so forth and marketing that they had to put something on. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Bishop, they could have done this, okay, remote. They could have had a 3-point shooting contest. They could have had a dunk contest with nobody traveling to Atlanta. They could have put it on TV. They would have made just as much money because people would have watched. They still could have donated the same amount of money. They still could see the whole performative nonsense that goes on where they brought light to this. Okay, they talked about something, they threw some money at it, and now they're not going to mention it again. Okay, that's my problem with it. And I understand what you're saying, and I'm not dismissing that. And I'm not saying the NBA is at fault for his family members. What I'm saying is he lost some people's family to COVID, and they basically told him, we don't care how you feel. This is a money grab. They could have done remotely. The guys who were in the All-Star, most of them are big name stars. They could have each done a 3-point contest in their own arena. Okay, they could have televised it. All right, this guy shoot at this time. You know what I'm saying? This could have been done in a better way without having guys traveling. You could have had the dunk contest and the 3-point contest. All right, you could have put it on TV and still made money still donated the money they made, still got the advertising dollars. Okay, you didn't have to have guys travel when you're supposed to be giving them a break to rest their bodies, because again, I'm gonna come back to this. When one of these star players, right, breaks down because of the lack of rest time. Listen, we could all feel how we want to feel about the product, but at the end of the day, all of us have played. We know that this wears on your body, and they're playing this at a level that none of us can even imagine. And imagine the wear and tear on their body. And when one of these guys breaks down and it costs a team a championship, and everybody's going to come back and say, well, we shouldn't have did this and we shouldn't have did that. You should have thought about that before the money grab.
Yeah, but they traveling anyway. They traveling anyway. They traveling anyway for games. They traveling anyway. So it's not like this is something that's out of the norm.
Go ahead, Don.
But that's the point. The point is, Bishop, we had that part ironed out. And to your point with the NBA and their social this and social, let's stop giving the NBA the Nobel Peace Prize. The NBA is comprised of about 85% African American.
So it's the NFL.
Again, we're not talking about the NFL right now. We're talking about the NBA. So the NBA really was in a. We're gonna again. We go back to May, guys, when some guy said, "I don't want to play because of COVID, social injustice." Somehow they got hoodwinked into we could spread this cause, put Black Lives Matter on the court. But at the end of the day, it was about money. It wasn't about social issues. It wasn't about this, that, and the other thing. It was about pure D dollars. Now you had a whole year to think this over. And to Chandler's point, not only did Karl Anthony Towns lose family members, he's one of the people I'm talking about. He missed 10 games because of COVID. So where again, my only thing is, where does the ends justify the means with this? It don't, guys. It really don't. Especially, you can say anything you want about social injustice. I get it. Believe me, I got your back. But for you to go out there and put dollars in front of everything else, when every week 643,000 Americans are filing for unemployment, and your big goal, unless we're missing the picture, is about money. In this day and age where people ain't making money, 643,000 people a week, guys, are filing for unemployment.
Yeah, but
so how do you, again, my only question is, did the ends justify the means? To me, no. If they would have just did what they had in mind, Bishop, do this condensed schedule, skip this week, give R, give Mac, give Chandler, everybody this 1 week to catch their breath, come back, because guess what? The next 36 games are going to be just as compressed, if not more compressed, than the first 36 games. You broke your promise because of money. Again, just like last year, it was all about the money, and everybody caved in.
So you basically maligning the whole process.
You're saying.
You're maligning the whole process. Yo, it was from 6:30 to like 10:30 on Sunday. Like that's when the festivity started. It started at 6:30 and it was over like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So it was only, it wasn't the whole pomp and circumstance that they normally have from that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was from 6:30 to, I'd say 11. Let's say 11. From 6:30 to 11, you had the whole thing, all of the festivities and so forth and so on. And you, in that time period, you acknowledged HBCUs, you did some stuff, you gave some people, you know, some looks that normally wouldn't. I'm okay with that because these guys would have been traveling for games anyway. So it's not like they're in a bubble and they took them out of a bubble.
But they wouldn't have been traveling, Bishop. They would have had this time off. They wouldn't have been traveling for a game.
They would have traveled to wherever. They would have traveled to wherever. They would have rested and then traveled and reconvened in the city where they were going to play the next game at.
So how many days was this? How many days?
That 5 hours, Bishop. That 5 hours Bishop is talking about basically cost them 3 days. That one 5 hour block cost them guys 3 days of real life time.
So
wait a minute. 5 hours, Bishop. Going back to your point, the whole pomp and circumstance was 5 hours, but it took 3 days out of their week off.
Well, wait a minute. So they haven't played any games. They stopped playing games on Thursday. So they had Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They played from 6. Well, the event happened from 6.
They had to be in Atlanta by Saturday.
Okay,
and they probably had a practice and a walkthrough.
Right. So again, you had Thursday, Friday. You got there on Saturday. You played, for a couple of hours on Sunday, and then you go back to your Monday, Tuesday. You haven't played anything. When is the next game? Wednesday. So
Wednesday.
They are getting rest. The majority of the league is getting rest because not everybody played in the All-Star game, and nobody really went hard in the All-Star game. It was more of like a fundraising event with a lot of pomp and circumstance from 6:30.
Some people did go hard. I seen some point guards throwing down alley-oops and dunks that don't dunk in the games.
Right. But the big picture is, guys, in the beginning, this was not part of the plan. That's all I'm getting at. No matter who went, who didn't go, who got 5 days, who got 3 days. It wasn't.
Well, you know why it got changed, Dom, so they could make that bag. So and
to Bishop, that's all I'm getting at. To Bishop's point about the HBCUs, if you truly want to do something more than a performative event and throw some dollars at it, you could have dedicated the second half of the season to the HBCUs. Every game that was on TNT and ESPN, y'all could have been talking about HBCUs. Y'all could have been highlighting people. You could have used the last 36 games of the season to do this, which would have brought far more shine to these HBCUs and the people that you're trying to highlight than 6 hours on a Sunday. Okay, if you were truly interested in that, or if it wasn't just a way to assuage, people and make something good came out of it, when you could have actually done some real good and not giving me a performance like writing something on the baseline.
Let me just say this too.
Hold on, Dom, go ahead, David.
The whole thing about the HBCUs, what bothers me is that HBCUs have existed long before the NBA. And this is the first time that I've ever heard the NBA acknowledge HBCUs. And so I feel like, to Chandler's point, you do one thing that's maybe open.
Good.
Open yourself to criticism with this, convening this all-star game. And then you say, well, we're going to, throw in about the HBCUs. So now everybody says, well, it was done for a good cause. And they did the same thing with the bubble. The bubble turned into Black Lives Matter everything. That's how they reintroduced the players and create opening up the bubble is the whole Black Lives Matter thing. And so I feel like you take something that might open yourself up to criticism, and then you mask it, you cover it up with something that people say, oh, but they focused on this, they focused on that, when you haven't been focusing on it for all these years. The NBA is how old? And like I said, I haven't heard them once talk about an HBCU. They barely talk about the players that have come from the HBCUs. And so now to dedicate this whole weekend and everything, they got all the refs from HBCUs. They had all the players, all 5 of them or whatever that they could round up and put them on a panel and started talking about the HBCUs. And then we walk away from it and say, well, wow, look at the NBA. They are really so on top of it. I call bullshit on it.
Right. So David, are you saying that this was let me fraudulent?
Look, yeah. The NBA knows how to market themselves. And they can read tea leaves and all the writing on the wall. And they can see, okay, this don't look so good. So then they throw something out there like who's going to be against I'm talking about HBCUs. That's wonderful. So everybody, I don't know anybody that's critical of them speaking about HBCUs. It's just that it seems convenient. It always seems convenient. The whole I didn't need Black Lives Matter on their shirts and the baseline and all those other things, because Black Lives Matter to me whether I watch the NBA or not. But I don't need the convenience of putting these things out there to sort of take away from the fact that we might get a hit on something else. So that's my issue.
Now let me read.
Okay, go ahead, Don.
Let me rewind something. Mark. Y'all know how I feel about them universities because I am a proud graduate of one. I told y'all last year.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Last year was the first time in decades that a deal was struck with HBCUs because the federal government had ignored them for years. Last year was the first time the federal government cut a 10-year contract where they don't got to come back and kiss somebody's ass for some damn benefit. Every year, we had to come back and kiss the government's ass to help us out. When they made a deal that will help you out, but you had to come back every year and beg until last year. Now they got a 10-year commitment. Now, as Dave said, now you want to add all of this stuff in. You're a day late, a dollar short. We understand. I always say this, guys. There's a difference between helping and we could all pander. We see enough of that nonsense.
So is the NBA pandering this weekend?
Yes.
Yep.
That's all they would do.
Absolutely.
Because guess what? The money they raise will not exceed the federal assistance they will receive for the next 10 years. They have a 10-year commitment from the federal government now that other administrations ignored, had them coming back year after year after year, begging for money. Do some research, guys. I'm not just talking off the top of my head.
So
we know
I study this because I'm one of them.
Right.
Yeah, but why did they get that money? What was happening? Who was in charge? And what was the motivation behind that 10-year commitment? So it wasn't because
you could say what you want about motivation, Bishop. Because what was the motivation before that? What was the motivation?
There was none.
What was the motivation for the All-Star game?
The point that I'm trying to make is everybody uses what they can use to their own benefit. Now, if it benefits you, the fact that they're using it to try to use it to their benefit, if it benefits you, or if you just so happen this broken clock syndrome, you're in the right place at the right time, and it benefits you, then so be it. Well, it wasn't because the federal government.
Go ahead. To that point, Bishop, which is a good point. But to that point, but going back to Dave's point, if you really wanted to do something, you have 72 games a year, probably 3/4 of that are nationally televised games. You didn't do shit before that. You didn't do shit. You put on a pomp and circumstance for one day. And we're all supposed to say, thank you. But we have to get somebody's ass something. And
it's
now
something.
Here you come. But I'm saying, Bishop, here you come after the help. And you want to pander to people like you're really doing something courageous. Why does the NBA got to do everything where they think it's courageous instead of just doing it? Because if you wanted to do it, you have 72 games, you have a numerous damn playoff games, and all of those games are nationally televised. When did you see this before this? You didn't. Again, they had to go and kiss people's asses to get assistance. Every damn year. There was a 1-year contract. We'll give you this year. And then you have to come back next year and beg some more. Really?
If you were a player,
one-day event.
Good point, Stone.
If you were a player and you came out of HBCU, you really even had to do a whole lot to even get the attention that some of these one and done guys get coming out of a school like Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina and all that stuff. No, I'm saying talent is going to find it and people are going to make it. But I think it's great when you start seeing those 5-star, 4 and 5-star prospects that are now putting HBCUs on their schools that they're going to visit, and some of them even Had the kids that went to Howard or whatever it is. But so I'm just saying this to say that the NBA. Look, I'm not going to knock them for doing something for the HBCUs, but I'm also not going to throw a parade for them because it is convenient. It is, and out of one thing before I go, out of somebody else's convenience, you might benefit from. But let's call it as it is. It's just like politicians when they haven't done anything for anybody. Then it comes election times coming around. Then they come into the neighborhood and start giving out some stuff, and people say, "Well, so and so did this, and nobody did that before." Yeah, but so and so could have done this his whole career. Right. But now that he needs you, then that's all I'm saying.
Right, but David, hold on, Dom.
Here's the weird thing.
Hold on, Dom. Let me make this point to piggyback on what David was saying before and what he just said. You said earlier that the NBA reads the tea leaves, right, David?
Yeah.
Right. So what's been happening in college basketball is that we see some of the players saying that they're going to go to HBCUs, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Right. So the NBA sees that, so they want to get ahead of the curve, which is people going to HBCUs. In college basketball, HBCUs have made inroads slowly. There's been a few teams each year that now get into the NCAA, the finals, into March Madness. So now we have certain blue chip prospects who would have gone to a Georgetown, would have gone to North Carolina or Duke. Now they're going to go to a HBCU to play basketball. So they're bringing it home, like you said, and they're reading the tea leaves, and now they're they're doing this for their convenience.
So I know, Dom. I know you want to jump in there. Let me just say this, Dom. Let me just say this before I lose the train of thought, and then because this is what I was. This is what I was alluding. This is what I was alluding. This is what I was alluding to, though, because if you look at what's going on with the NBA, looking at alternative tracks to the NBA for kids coming out of high school who. It used to be just the college basketball, the big time schools. Those were the feeders for the NBA. Now there are so many different avenues, and the NBA is looking at creating some of their own. Whether it is what they're doing with the G League or
internationally,
international, they have NBA basketball in Africa now. They're looking at a lot of different avenues. So the HBCUs are now another avenue that they're starting to recognize. Right. So I think what's going to happen though is the NCAA, the big schools. I think they are losing a lot of their momentum now and their footing with because you no longer need them the way you needed them before. Right. It's gonna be a while. It's not gonna be overnight, but things are changing.
Yes.
Go ahead, Dom, because you've been holding on, and I know you.
The only way that's ever gonna happen, Dave, and you make a great point. But let's put this all back in perspective. The reason plenty of kids are skipping over that college and going to these colleges is because of the NBA. Because where is the NBA targeted? The NBA is targeting these major universities. They're targeting these one and done. They're targeting the kids that want the money, need the money. Whatever the case, they're not looking at HBCUs. That won't happen for decades, because it hasn't happened in decades. Right. So don't think they're going to flip this switch and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to look at Fayetteville State University instead of Kentucky. No. Until the NBA really sits back and practices what they preach. Because I guess I bet you guys we could count on one hand how many guys are in the NBA right now that came out of an HBCU.
Right.
Might be 10.
Because ain't nobody going to them schools, guys. Trust me, I go to the games. And I don't see nobody in there scouting.
Right.
Because they're still going to Kentucky, UNC, Duke, now Baylor, Gonzaga. They're not practicing what they preach. And you can't tell me, guys, that there's not as many. We just went over last year the young man that opted out of going to a major college and went to Howard. Remember that story we was doing?
Right.
But that's not happening enough because these kids are being pushed to, this is your best chance. You go, let's just say Kentucky. You go to Kentucky. You could be a one and done. You'll be in the NBA by 18 and a half, 19 years old.
Right. And here's the piece to that.
That's got to change.
Yeah.
But here's the piece to that, Dom. That person that's steering that kid to a Duke, to a Kentucky, to a big time basketball college, he's getting a check. And we've seen those guys slowly get exposed, but it's still going to go on because that's what they do.
Exactly.
And Matt, you know, to bring it to what I said, and you know what, I am going to castigate the NBA, okay? Because again, I'm not giving you credit for doing something that you had no good intent for.
Right.
I'm not giving you credit for that.
Right.
Okay. Because again, if you truly wanted to do something good, and we had this conversation before the bubble last year, those players could have actually made real change by standing up for something. They chose not to when the checks was about to stop.
Right.
When they said you could get some money grab, well, let's throw it. Now, I guarantee you, outside of maybe Chris Paul, you won't see not one of the players that played this All-Star Weekend mentioned in HBCU. But I'm supposed to give the NBA credit? Absolutely not. I'm not going to give you credit for being dishonest. I'm not going to give you credit for using something to make yourself look good and you had no good intent behind it. I've told you guys this. I have no respect for Adam Silver. That's nonsense, but Adam Silver's the most progressive. No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's just following the script that David Stern laid down, which is let's continue to make money. We'll throw some dollars here. We'll throw some dollars here. We'll speak on this. We'll speak on that. But you can't say that because he has done that. They have mandated that the players not say certain things, and it's all about money. You know, some of us on this line, we all worked at big Fortune 500 companies. Tax write-offs. I've worked at companies who they donate money to all types of different things and situations, and they really don't care. It's about I'm gonna get that tax break for this.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's gonna make me look good in the paper. Okay.
Right. Again, they know how to market themselves. And to Chandler's point, I agree. The thing with the NBA is that the reason why they get any of the credit from some people is because the others do it so poorly. The NFL shot themselves in the foot.
Continuously shoot themselves.
They had an easy way to address it, and they opted. They made the wrong choice.
The NFL has endless ammo on shooting themselves.
Exactly. And baseball did it and doesn't even know why they did it.
The NFL got more. The NFL got more players historically that have come from them universities.
That's right.
NBA.
That's true.
Yes.
If you want to prove to me, if you want to prove to me you're in it to win it, y'all just said it. Fortune 500 companies, donations, tax write-off. Make a commitment. For 5 years. The NBA is going to donate umpteen $1 million to all these universities, and then we're going to spread it out. That's a commitment. Ain't no 1 weekend, no commitment. You don't commit nothing in 1 weekend.
Just take this $50,000 check and be gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever the amount is, Mark. Whatever the amount is.
Right.
That's my point.
Take this check, sir.
I mean, but look at this. I'm a baseball guy, and the percentages of African Americans playing baseball has dropped. It significantly. They got more international players than they do,
and Hispanic players are on the rise.
So the whole Black Lives Matter in Major League Baseball, like I said, they didn't even know why they were wearing the shirt.
And David, David, but yet every team has some sort of baseball in the inner city program. So every single team has an underprivileged youth program which they're targeting supposedly black youth. Yet there are less and less and less
every year.
And this has been going on for 20 years now, Mike. For 20 years.
Absolutely.
So in the past 20 years, with all of these initiatives, you've got less players? How does that work?
Right. Also, we gotta talk about the Seattle Mariners since we gonna swing left a little. Seattle Mariners, was he the GM?
President?
I think he was one of the team presidents or assistant GM, something like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This clown, because he's a clown. Homie said he was upset with spending money on a translator. That homie, you don't own the team. That's not your money. Shut up. He also disparaged Hispanic ball players, and he disparaged the Asian ball player.
Yeah.
And the neighborhood around the ballpark as well. And I've been to Seattle where that ballpark is. The neighborhood is nice, by the way.
Right. My man, you just threw away.
He had some problems over the last summer.
Right. He had a 20-year, 25-year career.
25-year career, yeah.
And here's the thing. I don't think that's the first time he said things like that.
It's not. Let me tell you something. And I always talk about the fact that I work in the schools. And I remember I had one time kid is actually Puerto Rican, but he was hanging with a couple of most of my school is predominantly black. So he's hanging with a couple of white kids that kind of like didn't really fit in, and they were in the hallway, yelling out, nigga this, nigga that, and all this stuff. And so the kid had said it, and what he did was he tried to be slick. He went on somebody left their account open on the computer, and then he went in there and then said some disparaging stuff about a teacher. And so we wound up finding out it was the kid. So his family comes up and they try to say, oh, well, he's got his uncle is black and all these things. And I said to him like this, I put it to you like this. I said, we all got a drawer at home that I throw all my junk in there. Now, the stuff in the front of the drawer is the stuff that I always grab and use. The stuff in the back of the drawer is stuff that I haven't touched for years, but it's in that drawer. So in your mind, if the first thing that comes out of your mouth is something racial or something like that, then that means it is in the most accessible part of your mind space. Or in my case, the drawer, if I reach in the drawer and pull out, so I can close my eyes and pull out certain things. So don't tell me that that's not you and you don't think like that and it's a one-time thing. We gravitate towards what it is.
But David, was that the white parent or was that the Hispanic parent?
The Hispanic parent.
Let me say this. I was raised in a neighborhood that's Hispanic and black, mostly black, but we got a lot of Hispanics in the neighborhood. And a lot of my friends are Hispanic. Hispanic people say the N-word just as much as we do. In fact, they say it more than us.
They do, but the point is that...
And I know what the point is that you're making.
He was with, though he wasn't saying it from the sense of this kid was trying to attack someone. And he went on another kid's account to try to make it seem like it was coming from this other kid. And I have witnessed, because I had to call him out on it, him with two other kids, non-black, non-Hispanic, who were yelling in the hallway and they didn't know that I heard them.
Right.
And I had to come out and address them. So it's not the first time that the kid has used that. It's one thing if the kid, like I said, I hate when our own kids use it. I don't like the use of the word, and I always try to talk to kids about using that word. But the overall point to what with this guy and what I hear these people say all the time is that if I wanted to get at somebody, the first thing that's coming out is usually the thing that is lingering in the closest regions of my mind. I don't have to dig deep in the back of my brain and find something. I grab what's readily available.
Right. I agree with you.
And in the case of this guy in Seattle and so many of these others that always are so, oh, I don't know where it came from. I don't. Yeah. You do speak like that.
Right.
Yep. And you
just got caught on a hot mic.
It's like
camera.
Exactly, and I'll leave it at this. It's like doing a search on your computer, and the stuff in your history. The most recent things are right there. That's what.
Here's the worst part. Now, one of the players he was talking about was a former pitcher. He played with the Yankees for a minute, but he went back to Seattle. He's going to be an executive with the team. This was someone who's going to be working with him. Was going to be working with him. Who he was stressing, well, suddenly we don't want to pay for his translator. Now he speaks good English. Now he was saying this at sort of like a season ticket holder type event, okay? Which means that you've been saying this in the office all of the time. All the things you've said repeatedly, which is why, again, to David's point, why it came so easy. But the worst part for me is, and you know how I feel about Tony Clark. I can't stand him. Okay, can't stand him. Because where was the Players Association when this happened? Because this is what you want to have an issue with. This nonsense about, well, we don't want to stop spring training. Again, these unions are pissing me off. Okay, but where was Tony Clark to say you acknowledge manipulating service time to keep guys' salaries down? You acknowledge this.
He said that too.
Yes, you acknowledge that you have an issue with Hispanic players. You acknowledge that your organization has a track record for thinking less of Hispanic players who, if they don't speak perfect English, and you're going to think differently about them and maybe impede their careers. Okay, all of this plays into it when some of these guys don't get brought up. When there's different players who don't get an opportunity, we're like, yo, why won't this guy get a chance? This guy can play. And we watching them baseball. We know who can play. We see talent. We've seen it all our lives.
Right.
But this guy won't get a chance. It's endemic to baseball, and the fact that this story went away so quickly speaks to how deep rooted in baseball this is.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it also goes back to with all this hypocrisy we're talking about. I think one of the biggest cases of hypocrisy is, and you guys always hear me talk about the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Where was the Me Too movement all those years that Mark Cuban's organization was doing what they was doing with their women employees? How did
we spoke about
that story, guys? If you could remember.
Before we became acquainted and before you became, friends with us, Dom, me and R spoke about that. And we make it our duty as, part of our show to talk about stuff like that. And I think Chandler was with us when we spoke about Mark Cuban and Dallas, and how Mark Cuban seems like a nice dude, but on the surface, you got that shit in your backyard on your watch in your organization.
For years.
And you did nothing about it.
For years.
And what does he do? The NBA don't do nothing to him. He hires a female executive.
He sort of glossed over it, and he said the right things. And again, he gave a check somewhere and said, make this go away. Take this check.
There's a check. Yep.
Make me look good.
And that's the thing is we all understand how the world works. We get it. But don't spit in my face and tell me it's raining.
Right.
And don't expect me to not acknowledge the fact that you spit in my face. Yes, we know that these big corporations, these rich people, they're going to cut a check and make things go away. We all understand that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Shake a hand, maybe kiss a baby.
Right.
See, I kissed the baby.
Yeah.
That's
don't
right.
ask me. But don't ask me to buy with yourself.
But don't think that nobody's seeing it.
Right.
That's
because nobody is stupid and nobody is unaware.
Exactly.
That's the insulting of the intelligence.
Exactly. It's like, okay, Mark called me a name yesterday. We were joking. Okay, we were joking. We established that.
Right.
You're doing this. We saw it. We established that. and then all of a sudden, Puff the Magic Dragon.
Right.
And I don't think there's nobody in the NBA that lives off of more hypocrisy than Mark Cuban. Because to me, he's a fraud.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not
because he's the one.
I know people like to laud him and I'm not really a fan of his like that.
Never have been. Never have been.
And like you were saying, Dom, he seems a little
he proved it
fake to me. Yeah, Dom.
And he proved it not long ago. Again, here's a guy that walked around, not to change the subject, maybe because I just can't stand him. But here's a guy.
It's all good.
Here's a guy that walked around with his high heels. I've been around Chandler too long now. Here's a guy that walked around with his high heels on for 4 years, preaching the country is divided. We need unity. And your first opportunity to unite people is to divide people over, we're not going to play the national anthem. So that's taking away the people that want to hear it, the people that don't want to hear it. So again, what are you doing, Mark? You're dividing amongst what you was trying to unite for. There's no way in God's green earth. And I always say this, guys, because I study shit, that was the Russians' doctrine. Their doctrine was the more they divide us, the easier it would be for them to conquer us. And then we do it. And then you do it after you walk around with your high heels on for 4 years, preaching unity. And the first opportunity you get is to divide.
He's making me laugh when he says high heels.
Well, he wasn't trying to unite anybody, Don. What he was doing was what we've been talking about for the past 20 minutes. He was pandering. Okay, because what happened was they stopped playing the anthem. Yeah, they stopped playing the anthem for a couple of games. Nobody noticed. Nobody said anything, right? But then he decided, oh, I ain't got no publicity for this. Ain't nobody telling me, ain't nobody patting me on the back. So he then went to a reporter and said, hey, we stopped playing the national anthem. Hey, look at me.
The rest of us have.
I see. But you know what? It's like when people do things that nobody asked them to do.
Right.
That's when that pandering. So because if I'm asking you to respect me, and I gotta beg you for that, that's one thing. But you turn around and not playing the anthem. Nobody asked him to do that. I don't care. I don't care if he plays it or not. I didn't ask the NBA to walk around with Black Lives Matter shirt on. I didn't ask them for that. We asked them to stop killing us.
But here's the
But we still got to argue about that.
All that stuff he did, and like Chandler said, once he opened his mouth, then the NBA said, we have a policy.
Right.
You're going against our all of a sudden the next night it was being played. So you didn't get attention, got a second of attention, then you got scolded, and then it all went away.
But see,
this is what I mean, guys. This is hypocrisy 101.
Absolutely.
But here's the piece, Dom. Now he looks now like, oh man, he really down with us. NBA went after him. Because here's the thing, Dom, you don't think the NBA knew he wasn't playing that anthem? You don't think they didn't know that?
They knew.
They had people at every game. They knew, but they didn't say anything because nobody was making an issue of it until he made the issue so that he could look like, oh man, see, I'm down with you, son, because I played the anthem and the NBA came after me.
And Chandler, he still looks sort of down because now he gets to see what they did to me.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So he played this perfectly to again appear as though he's an ally when he's no one's ally.
Okay, remember when he made that statement? I don't remember the exact words he said, but he said as a white guy, him walking down the street and he saw a black guy, he would be scared.
Yeah. But everybody's forgotten about that because again, that performative allyship that people talk about. He's the perfect example of it because you can be an ally in what you do, and then you ain't got to say a word, and people will know you an ally. But when you have to constantly, it's kind of like that thing where you have to constantly tell people what you're doing for other people. you're not really doing it for the right reason. So shut up.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's move on. Go ahead. Last point.
No, I was gonna say, Mark, when you talk about that stuff, y'all would never know who I was married to until you asked me the question about a year and a half ago, Mark.
Yeah.
I don't walk around with that as a badge, but you happened to ask me. I think it was you and Chandler.
Yeah.
Yeah, which actually I could appreciate you for that.
Well,
yeah, but I don't talk about it.
To be honest with you, I don't even know.
Right.
But this is the thing. I don't even.
Show. I didn't know you at that time.
I don't even know.
These two clowns brought it up one night.
but I'm making your point. To your point is you don't broadcast it. Right. So the fact that I don't know, and when you mentioned about your alma mater being the HBCU, I had actually forgotten about that.
Right. And David, what he's trying to say is like somebody says, I got an Asian friend.
Yeah.
I got a white friend. I got an Italian friend.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dave, let me say one thing before we go on. How it my girlfriend's black. These two clowns right here, when COVID first kicked off, they didn't know because Mark is actually the one that brought it up. But before that, he said, "Oh shit, you're gonna be divorced before COVID is over, staying in the house all year." I'm like, I've been married, for 30-something years, and then that's how
I remember.
Because these two clowns had me divorced. They had me divorced before COVID ended. These two clowns right here. Yeah.
Hey.
I was
and with that,
my ass off.
Right. And with that, this is why Dom came here tonight.
This is why Dom hung out this long. Here we go.
New York Knicks midseason report card. I'm gonna let Dom go first. What are your thoughts on the New York Knicks and what they have done this year?
I think Chandler might have heard me say this on another show. Tick tock, tick tock. Leon Rose, you're on the clock. Because you know what? As good as the Knicks have been playing, I got to give them credit, and I'm a Knicks fan. But when you really rewind this, other than the jury's still out on, let's say, a Toppin, a Quickly, you haven't pulled no magical wand out your pocket, Mr. Rose. You got Tom Thibodeau, who actually wanted to be our coach, so you really didn't have to bend over backwards to get him. But when you really rewind this, as good as the Knicks are playing, what has he really accomplished? You walked away with $19 million in cap space. So now are you going to move forward with, hey, you know what? We got something good going on, but we need, pick whatever you want, perimeter shooting. We really don't got to deal with the defense. They're holding opponents to less amount of points than anybody in the league. They have the best field goal percentage against, best three-point percentage against. So, okay, we got that part down pat. But we all, as blind fans, see what our weaknesses are. That's why I say, now you're on the clock, Leon. I don't care what you've done in the past, because you didn't do much for us. Let's just keep it real. We're all grown men. Now you're on the clock. We're moving in a direction, but we need, now that's your job, to go get them pieces. Great first half of the season, guys.
I sort of disagree with you, Dom. It's his first season. This is the first half of the first season, and the Knicks have made a lot of strides, and we have to see where this is going. And also, he hired the right coach, and they have the right pieces in the front office. This is year one. We have to see where they go in the off season, what they do, if they make any more moves. Trade deadlines coming up, and I'm happy with what's going on with the Knicks.
Thing, Mark. Let me just say this, Mark, because I'll lose my train of thought like Dave. Remember one thing. It was that guy that some people didn't agree with when the Knicks got him, Worldwide West. He was the one that kept telling them, don't let this kid slip to the second round. That kid being Quickly. Don't let him slip to the second round.
Well, that's because Worldwide West has connections to Kentucky.
Right. But again, Mark, he was the one that, not Leon Rose, Leon Rose had a no-brainer with the Toppin pick. But when it came to that next pick we had, he was telling him, do what you got to do, but don't let this kid slip to the second round.
It's partly because he's a Kentucky guy, and they hired a Kentucky assistant coach.
But he knew what he was doing, because we are seeing, and I'm not calling this guy the next Earl Monroe or nothing, but he has talent. He's a very good shooter.
No, it was a good pick.
But it was Worldwide West. It was Worldwide West that was pushing him, because he knew nothing about this kid. He was like, don't let this kid slip by us. We have opportunity to grab.
Well, you know what? Him and Leon Rose and Worldwide West go way back. They go back more than 30 years.
30 to 40 years.
So he did what he was supposed to do. It's a Kentucky. Hold on, let me finish though. Let me finish. He's got connections to Kentucky, so he got a Kentucky kid to come here. And it was a good pick. Quigley's a really good player. I don't think, you allude that he's on the clock, Leon Rose. It's his first year. I want the Knicks to build this right, whether it's to go and get a free agent, whether it's to build the team organically and keep picking up players through the draft or whatever. But they're doing things smartly for a change. It's been a long time since they've had people.
He's doing one thing good, Mark. Right. He's doing one thing good. And that's what I said in the beginning when they put this team together, that they finally have adults in the room. And he proved that, because you look back at some of the bozos we had in the front office, that top bozo might not have listened to Worldwide West, because he was stuck on, I'm the man and I'm going to pick who I want to pick. So he showed me that he's willing to listen. But again, you've had umpteen games or days or months, because remember, the Knicks stopped at COVID. They didn't play no more ball after COVID until December? So you had a chance to put pieces together. And that's the only reason, because of how good they're playing. If you're going to build on something, then damn it, let's build on it. We waited long enough. I'm not that guy. I'm getting older. I ain't giving Leon Rose 5 years. I'll be collect Social Security.
Listen, we also talk about the Knicks over the past, going back to when the Knicks got when the Knicks had Carmelo. They went to a stretch where they had a coach every other year. So the Knicks need to be patient in some regards and letting Thibodeau do what he does, which is coach. And it needs to be a process of more than 1 year and say he's on the clock. Go ahead, Chandler. I know you want to say something.
Okay, I still hate RJ Barrett. We all know this. And I still hate Worldwide West. We all know this. These reasons are personal. I ain't moving on. I'm not moving off that particular square. But what I'll say is this: this is the first time, probably since the 90s, that the Knicks are the best team playing in Madison Square Garden, and I'm including the Liberty in that, because there were years that the were better than the Knicks. Okay, so and we know for years that the Rangers have been the best team playing in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are finally the best team playing in the Garden again. So this regime is already a success just from that standpoint. Right. Now you look at the coach. That's a success. You look at the coaches, the people he brought in, the teachers of the game he brought in, guys he's hired to help them develop their careers, but also help these young players. I mean, he's got guys with you're the two-way player coach. He's making up titles to give guys jobs to get their feet in the door, but they're also benefiting the players on the team. He's starting to bring in some veteran guys who can, as I always say, preach the gospel of Tibbs. You got you got Derrick Rose. Okay, you got some guys preaching the gospel of Tibbs now in the game. Man, we have our starting point guard, and I like the way he's bringing him along. He's not giving him anything. He's earning it. But Emmanuel Quigley's not going to be starting point guard this year because he's not ready yet. There are still holes in his game. And I can live with Elfrid. I don't like Elfrid Payton, but I can live with Elfrid Payton if that means that Quigley gets to develop the right
Right, and he's played well.
Yes.
Peyton's played well.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't.
The thing about
hold on.
The thing about quickly.
No, he hasn't.
We've watched Julius Randle. We watched Julius Randle.
Hold on, Bishop. Go ahead, Chandler.
We've watched Julius Randle mature, right, into a guy that honestly I think the Knicks need to keep. And you know that's a lot for me to say, but I've watched Julius Randle mature under these coaches. We watched him mature. We watched him become a solid foundational player that should be in this organization for a while.
Right.
Listen,
but you know he's gonna have to at some point be moved because we got Obi Toppin. And here's the thing with Obi Toppin, and then I'm gonna let Bishop talk because he wants to chime in. Obi Toppin has been a slow starter wherever he's been from high school to college, and that's because it just works that way with him, and he's a worker. So I'm fine with him not playing a lot of minutes because he has to adjust. And he will adjust, and he'll get better. And then maybe they come to a point where they move on from Randle. But I would like to keep Randle because I see he's developing to the talent that was drafted when he was drafted. Go ahead, Bishop.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm happy that Randle has finally started. Like whoever's been talking to him has gotten in his head and has him playing the right way. I personally wouldn't have liked to see him make the All-Star game because I think there was other guys more deserving that have been doing it longer. I can remember, watching some of those games last season where it was just like, he was a train wreck, and it's like you don't turn it around and squeeze guys out of their rightful all-star spots because you have one good half a season.
Well, that's what the all-star game is about.
But I'm just saying
he's having an all-star season, bro.
Yeah, but you got guys who have been doing it, who've been putting up numbers, and they've been doing that. They've been doing that.
Been playing well. I can't deny him from not being an all-star. Stop it.
I would have made him earn it just like some of the other guys.
He did earn it.
No, I'm just saying, like some of the other guys that have put the numbers up and they haven't made it. Some of the guys like Chris Middleton cracked that all-star barrier. He cracked that all-star ceiling, and he's been putting up the same numbers. So why would he not be down in the all-star game? And Julius Randle. So I feel like then
is he having an all-star year this year?
He's putting up the same numbers that he's been putting up.
But is he having an all-star year this year? Are those numbers impactful?
But again,
so you got quiet.
I'm trying to.
You gotta take.
It's like the numbers and the statistics that he is putting up is the same that he's putting up the year before that, and the year before that. So what I'm saying is, just because Randle has had, and I'm a Knicks fan, you know that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. To me, it seemed like, dude, you got to pay your dues.
But how about this? How about this, Bishop? Randle's numbers are similar to the numbers he had last year.
Yeah, but he was also averaging 5 turnovers, and he wasn't shooting with the accuracy that he's shooting with this season. And he was taking a lot more shots.
His game has been impactful, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Right, so he deserves to be an all-star.
Let's just throw this out there. Anthony Davis was voted to the all-star game, and he don't have one category better than Julius Randle. Points, rebounds, assists. He don't top him in near one of those categories. Anthony Davis. So if you're gonna have a lifetime achievement award for the all-star game, okay, we'll do that. But find me one guy that's putting up better points, rebounds, assists than Julius Randle, and then we'll put him in the game. If you're just going with popularity, longevity, okay, I get that. But I didn't think that's what it was about. I thought it was about this year. And
it's about this year. It's supposed to be about this year.
Right. I mean, we could go back in his past, but then again, if you want to go back in his past, and I've been telling y'all this since the Knicks got him, other than his playing on some wacky teams, his numbers have improved every year since he came in the NBA after he got hurt. Every one of his numbers have gone up.
Yep.
And now his three-point shooting has gone up. Now his assists have gone up. So if you're going to replace him, then show me who got better numbers than him, and I'll say I surrender. But nobody does. I looked into it. Nobody has better numbers than him.
Right. Chris Middleton is getting the numbers he's been getting. Nothing's really changed.
Right.
Who else, Bishop, should be at that spot besides Randall?
Like I said, it just seems like to me.
Name somebody else.
I named somebody. I don't think he should have been sweet. I just named somebody. I just named somebody.
But you said more than you said other players. Name somebody.
And you asked me to name him, and you asked me to name. I didn't think Chris Middleton should have been squeezed out of it.
He got it.
The only guy I think that had a shot over Randall was Domantas Sabonis. I thought that he should have been on there. If I was not going to take Randall, then Sabonis.
Sabonis got on because somebody got hurt.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's the only guy I would have said over Randall.
And that's what I would have said, Bishop. I mean, Randall. I mean, Chandler. But I looked at their numbers. and Randall has Sabonis in all three of those categories I just said. So, again, if you're going to take Randall off, then you got to replace him with somebody that has better numbers. That's just my theory, because it is going by this first half of the season. Not even Bam Adebayo. People complain he didn't make it. He don't got better numbers than Randall. Anthony Davis don't have better numbers than Randall. But he got voted in, so we can't take that genie back in the bottle. But I will say one thing to what Chandler said. Very quickly is becoming a better shooting guard than R.J. Barrett. And that's going to be his key. He ain't going to be no point guard. Yeah, he ain't going to be no – I know how you feel, Bishop. Yeah, but I think people are missing that I don't think this kid's going to be a point guard. I think he's going to be a two guard.
He's not really a point guard. He's a two
guard. And he's showing that now.
But what's the point guard?
He's a much better two guard than Barrett. I hate to say that Barrett may have to be a three.
What's
a point guard that can't shoot?
Barrett can't shoot, and then he takes bad shots on top of it.
Yeah.
Yes, on top of that, Dave.
Yeah.
Me and Bishop talk about this all the time.
You know, I would cut my losses. Now. I would use him as trade bait. He's a young player. He could develop into a mid-range type of player. I'm just not willing to wait for. I'm just not willing to wait. Throw him in a deal if he could.
What are you waiting for? He's progressing. He's better than he was last year.
He should be much better than he is now. What pick was he? What pick was he? What pick was
7.
What? No. Yeah.
He's regressed. He's regressed.
How did he regress? He's actually just better than he was last year, and he's
when they play
averaging more than he averaged last year.
They still call him the Maple Mamba.
When they play the good teams, only thing they do is they zone up, and he's ineffective. His defense.
What's the Knicks record?
His defense. His defense is mediocre at best. He can't shoot from the perimeter, and the best that we're seeing from him now, He's got a decent mid-range game, and he penetrates. Right. He's got it. So it's going to take him at least another 2 to 3 seasons before he reaches his peak. So what I'm saying is.
So what are you going to do? Draft somebody?
No, I'm talking about use him in a trade. See if we can use him in a trade with the Beal for Beal or add him to one of those deals, because
Washington isn't trading Beal.
He's also 20, isn't he?
They're gonna have to get rid of him.
Yeah, he's 20.
They're gonna have to get rid of him. I don't know if it's gonna be Beal or if it's gonna be Levine. I don't know. But I don't see how he fits into the long term, because as the NBA is moving on, if you can't shoot, you basically at a guard spot, and he's too small to be a forward. If you can't shoot, you obsolete.
That's not true.
Remember one thing, guys, for y'all that don't watch a lot of ACC ball. R.J. Barrett was not a two guard at Duke. Reddish was the two guard. Yeah, forward. He was a small forward at Duke. He wasn't no shooting guard. He wasn't no two. Yeah,
that's at Duke.
He's
a two in the NBA.
I don't think so, Mark, because he can't shoot. A two is considered a shooting guard, and he can't shoot.
A two guard is a two guard.
Yo, in this league, the 2 and the 3 have to be able to shoot. The 2 and the 3 in this league, the 2 and the 3 have to be able to shoot, and neither one of those positions can he fulfill.
Not necessarily. Go ahead, Chandler.
As much as I hate R.J. Barrett, I got to disagree because it depends on scheme. In the scheme that Tom Thibodeau runs, R.J. Barrett fits because in Thibodeau's scheme, his two guard is more of a mid-range game guy. Look at two guards he's had over the years in his system. The guy that played the two was more of a mid-range guy than he was a three-point shooter. You can go back to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler wasn't really a three. He could shoot the three now, but he wasn't really a three-point shooter. He was a mid-range game guy, and his forwards, his threes and fours, shot more. His point guard, his threes and his fours shot more threes than the two guard did. In the scheme that Thibodeau runs, R.J. Barrett is actually a perfect fit. I just hate R.J. Barrett, but if I'm just looking at this from a basketball standpoint, yeah, I can't stand him. I can't stand his father. I hate the whole family. But anyway,
is that a function? But I'm saying, is that a function of? Is that a function? What I'm saying, is that a function of the scheme that he's running, or is it a function of the limitation of the player that he has?
It's a bit of both.
It's like, again, like I watched this dude play, and I'm just like, okay, so from your rookie season, you realize that you had to come back. You had to come back with a shot, with a consistent jump shot, and you had to come back with better decision making. So
here's a number for you. He shot 28 or 30% from the three last year.
Right.
He's shooting 35% this year.
So he's got
hold on. And over the last 5 or 6 games, he shot over 40% from the three. Is that improvement?
And that's over the last 5 to 6 games, which is bumped up his percentage. But in the first, it's like, dude, I watched these games, yo.
So you're saying he didn't progress, but he did progress.
Nah,
which one is it?
I'm saying he did not. I'm saying that he did not.
From your view, though.
Nah, I'm saying he did not.
He did, though. He did.
He had a good stretch. He's having a good stretch. No, he's having a good stretch right now where there's 5 or 6 games where it's
you focusing on that, but
no, I'm focusing on the total
35% from the. He's shooting 35% from the field, which is which is slightly above the league minimum. Stop it.
Okay, so how many games has he sat out in the fourth quarter because they can't use him when the game gets tight?
Coach using his roster.
When the game gets tight. When the game gets tight and he's not in the game, why is that? Because they can't use him because he's not effective offensively.
But that's not actually true because there have been plenty of games where he was on the floor in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, against Indiana. Indiana.
Not just Indiana.
That's what he's had his best game.
Okay, but it's not just Indiana. And again, I watched the game too. He's been on the floor during crunch time. Oh, again, you got me defending R.J. Barrett here, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, I watch these games. And I'm like, yo, like some of this, some of his decision making. I don't hate anybody. I'm just saying some of his decision making is horrible. It's worse than last season. And it's like, yo, if when they need buckets or when they need somebody to score, he's not the guy that they have in the games.
Listen,
he's not the guy that they have in the games.
David got to help me out, man.
We see you.
David got to help me out, man, because he got me defending R.J. Barrett. David got to help me out.
I see. I know that's difficult for you. But look, yeah, RJ. Look, he's 20 years old, so I think I think that he can improve, and he has shown some improvement. I don't like some of the decisions that he makes. I don't like the fact that sometimes he tries to take it to the hole against the bigger player when he's got his teammates wide open on the side. He sort of plays that hero ball sometimes. So his shot selection is what I find
it's iffy.
Yeah,
it's iffy. But listen, I'm happy with his progress, and he has a right coach who utilizes him to his strengths and not.
That's the thing. See, I've been wanting Tibbs for like 2 coaches back. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that he's here now. Like he should have been here 3 years ago. I'm like, then we'd be talking about a different Knicks team.
Right.
So he's one of the guys that when he was available before, they were picking out of a hat.
But maybe he wasn't right for New York because Tibbs used to. It's like he used to run his mouth a little bit too much, and that would always get him in trouble. And the New York media.
He's that type of guy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
he's going to do that. I love how he is.
So what did we get? We got a little kinder in COVID. I don't know.
Well, he's a bit more refined in the sense that he used to be a little reckless with the stuff that he would say, and it would rub a lot of players the wrong way, and it would rub people in the organization. Rub people in the organizations a little differently too. So that's why it would always not work out for him. He's a pretty decent coach to me, but again, it's like time changes things, and I'm happy that he's here. It changes the whole dynamic of how they play. I feel again, it's like I watch these games, and sometimes it's like when you look at how the NBA is moving and how these different positions or the direction that these different positions, like everything is becoming more of a skill set. All of these guys are becoming skill set guys, and it's more not positional basketball. And it's like, again, like you got to be able to do everything. Like as a perimeter player, you got to be able to hit a jump shot. You have to be able to hit a jump shot. I'm not saying that you got to be Steph Curry, but you got to be able to hit a jump shot. And
but he's hitting 35% from the 3 line, as opposed to the 28 he was shooting last year.
Right, and the reason why his percentage is up.
He's only improved 3 or 4 percentage points in both.
Right.
Field
the
goal
reason
and
why,
3-point.
Right, and the reason why that is because he's had a good stretch, but in general, he's not that guy. In general, he's not that guy.
What guy? He's the number 2 right now on the team. Who else on the roster besides Quigley and Derrick Rose can do what he does scoring wise?
What score?
Yeah,
so he penetrates. He penetrates to the hoop, and then when they zone up, then he's ineffective.
But he can get his own basket. He can get to the hoop, which you need somebody that can get to the hoop. Oh my God, this dude got me to finish. At the end of the day, at the end of the day,
go ahead, Chandler.
Chandler's going to start the RJ Barrett fan club.
I'm saying.
I'm not saying he's Jimmy Butler. What I'm saying is he's filling the Jimmy Butler role for Tibbs, and that's not a bad thing because we watched Jimmy Butler go from a guy who could only penetrate, and maybe it was a decent mid-range
and play
game.
Good defense,
right? And play.
Yeah, but that was a staple, though. That was a staple.
Becoming a complete player, and what I'm seeing with Tibbs, I think what Tibbs sees in RJ Barrett, I think
is that guy,
somebody who he can bring along like that. And if he can get RJ Barrett to be Jimmy Butler light, that's not a bad thing.
Right. Now let me ask you this, Bishop. We got Alex Burke and Reggie Bullock, who Chandler affectionately calls Sandra Bullock, but both of those guys fill roles offensively and defensively that we need. Reggie's a better defender. Burks is a better offensive player, but we're getting good production from them, and neither of them do on the floor what RJ Barrett does, because Alec Burks runs hot and cold. Reggie Bullock can't put the ball on the floor. He can't create his own shot. So we in a good place. He's using his roster to their strengths and not so much some of their deficiencies, which I love about him. The other coaches we had didn't do that.
Well, they said Fizdale was high-fiving players and they were losing by 30.
Yeah. But another thing with R.J. Barrett, guys, and there's no knock against him. He just checks off more blocks of needs improvement than he checks off boxes completed. Because if you look at like what Chandler said, he has the ability to go to the basket. If not for a good stretch, he was shooting 65% from the foul line. He's had a good stretch, but got it up to about 72, 73. But this is a guy that you're dependent on going to the basket. And then if he gets fouled going to the basket, you got to close your eyes to make sure he hits it. And again, guys, this isn't just this year, last year. Again, watching him in college, these are the things that he didn't check the boxes off in college. He was not a good shooter in college. He was not a good foul shooter in college. He wasn't a good shooter last year. He wasn't a good foul shooter last year. So any little bit of improvement, you're talking about a 3-year stretch of minimal improvements. Like I said, he has more boxes checked off that needs improvement than he has completed boxes. I'm not knocking the kid. I agree with Dave. He's a young man. But if I could package him, Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, and Austin Rivers to get a Karl Anthony Towns, they all got to go. They all got to go. I'm sorry. Bye-bye. We appreciate that you being here.
I would make that trade.
But you got to go.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I don't think
you got to go because sooner or later Minnesota's going to have to free Karl Anthony Towns. He's not going to stay there.
I don't think he's going anywhere because he already signed the max with them. So.
Yeah, Towns ain't going nowhere. He's going to Minnesota.
Yeah, James got a long-term contract, and he talked his way out of it this year. So
what did you say? Hold up. What did you say? Hold on. What'd you say? Don, who signed the contract?
James Harden. He just signed a long-term contract last year, and he walked away this year. It can happen. I'm just saying, this ain't no guarantee no more, guys. Not in today's NBA. We got guys talking their way out of contracts after the ink dries.
But that's also dependent upon the person. That's like Giannis stayed in Milwaukee. Some guys, Karl Anthony Towns, if he gets moved from Minnesota, it won't be because he asked to be moved. I'm gonna put that out there right now. It's not gonna be because he asked to get moved. It's because they choose to move him. But he's not gonna ask to be moved because that's just not how he's built. He and I'm not saying there's anything wrong or right with that. I'm just saying based on who he is as a human being, he's going to honor what he considers to be what he gave as his word. So he's not going to ask out. But I don't think the Knicks move R.J. Barrett because I think Thibodeau sees a lot of things in Barrett that he likes. And the one thing we know with Tibbs is he's loyal, sometimes to a fault, to guys that he rides with. Okay? If Tibbs rides with you, he going to ride till the wheels fall off. All right? And we can tell who the guys he really is riding with on his team. R.J. Barrett's in his car. Emmanuel Quickly's in his car. Obi Toppin is in his car because Obi Toppin is a hard worker. Not because Obi Toppin is some world beater right now, but because the kid busts his behind in every play. He might be out of position, but he was running hard to get out of position. You understand what I'm saying? He might have blew the defensive assignment, but he was running hard to blow that defensive assignment. And that's all Tibbs wants from you is effort. If you give him effort, he will rock with you. Okay, so I don't think R.J. Barrett gets moved unless it's some blockbuster deal. And let's be honest, the Knicks don't have enough pieces to really pull off some blockbuster deal. So I think y'all need to get used to it. And also, and again, I hate doing this, but when we look at some of these one and dones, outside of the transcendent one and dones, most of these guys take 3 to 4 years to check off the boxes that they should have checked off in college. Okay, getting better as a free throw shooter, getting better as a shooter. Like some of the stuff, Obi Toppin got better in college as time went on because he stayed the entire time. If Obi Toppin had been a one and done, we'd be killing him right now because he would be absolute trash.
Yeah, I don't really have that much confidence in players that come from Duke. So I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, and again, you just made a good point. You just made a good point, Chandler. You just made an excellent point, and you confirmed what I said before. He's still got about 3 to 4 seasons before he is who he's going to be for the rest of his career.
But is that a bad thing? It took Jimmy Butler a couple of years before he developed.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler started with defense as a staple. And that's what got him on. He started with defense. RJ don't play defense like that. RJ don't play defense like that.
He plays good enough defense.
Well, the whole team plays good defense, but I'm
they
talking
play good
about
team defense.
They play good team defense, but he's not the guy. Like he gets lost in coverages. He gets backdoored. He gets
he does. But you know what's that? You know you can live with that because you got Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Nolan's cleaning up stuff.
Yes. But if I could package him off,
they play good team. They play good team defense.
Yeah, right.
Nobody on that.
So let me ask you: if you take RJ
defender.
Barrett off the floor, Alec Burks plays great defense. Austin Rivers plays great defense. No, they don't.
But they're threats offensively from the perimeter. They're threats offensively from the perimeter. They're threats. You gotta honor them.
The thing is,
you gotta honor them. You gotta honor them. You gotta play them.
Missing, though, Mark. The thing you're missing, Mark, is you could take any one of them off the court. Like you could take Barrett off the court, put Quickly in the game. They play such good team defense that it can get overshadowed at times.
Right. And mind you, Quickly isn't a great defender either.
If you're average, right. But again, you could mask that because he's giving you so much productivity on the offensive end, and your team plays great team defense.
Listen,
if you take Barrett off the court, again, just take Barrett off the court. Just for shits and giggles. Take Barrett off the court, put Quickly in the court. The Knicks go from average. Here's the funny thing. They're average giving up 103.7 a night, but they're only averaging 104 points a night. Hence the reason they're only one game over 500. So if you sacrifice some of that and just get your scoring up 2 to 4 points, this whole conversation shifts. Because that's what they're lacking. They're lacking offense. They're lacking perimeter shooting. So when you see Quickly come in, and he's had his off nights, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, he's a pretty solid shooter. He's a much better shooter than RJ Barrett. So what you sacrifice on who's the better defensive player, which can be determined.
Well, they play different positions.
He's a better offensive player. Definitely a better perimeter player.
Not that I'm a RJ Barrett. I'm not a. Well, he's playing a point for the Knicks, but I'm not. Hold on, I'm not a RJ Barrett super fan, but he is what he is, and the Knicks are winning more than they won last year. So
after tonight, Chandler is,
and he's
it ain't because of him. It ain't because of him. Like the games that they've
really
the games that they've opened it up and scored. He's been on the bench. The game that they scored. The game that they scored 140 points, he wasn't a part of that.
But
he wasn't a part of it.
There's been other games where
there's been about 5 or 6 games where he's the reason why they lost because of bad shot selection, because of weak passes, because of trying to drive on Andre Drummond, because of trying. There's been plenty. Like I've watched these games. There's been plenty.
You could say that about just about everybody on the roster. The bottom line is the coach's foundation is defense. Tom Thibodeau's calling card is defense. So if he's not willing to sacrifice defense for offense, he's not willing to do that. And so if that means that RJ Barrett is a plus for this team based on the coach and the system they're running. I understand your point, Bishop, but that is not who the Knicks are, and that is not who Tom Thibodeau is. The Knicks are not going to be a team that tries to outscore you. That's not who Thibodeau is, and maybe that got lost in translation somewhere, but have you forgotten who the coach is?
I'm not saying that they're going to outscore. I'm not saying that they're going to put up 140 points a night. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the games that they have played, that they have won games comfortably, RJ Barrett, the majority of those games, he wasn't a factor in those games.
I'd be willing to bet that he scored at least 20 points in those games.
He's had some games. He's had some games where he's scored 20 points. He's had some games where he scored, between 18 and 20 points. And that basically, but there's been games where the Knicks have scored 120 points to 140 points, and he was on the bench.
Okay,
he was on the bench.
There's been games where Emmanuel quickly didn't do well that the Knicks won. He is part of the solution right now, not part of the problem.
Right.
Okay. I disagree. I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Anyway,
you had me defend RJ Barrett for 20 minutes, man. I'm pissed off.
Yeah. Anyway, today has become yesterday, and it is now tomorrow.
Oh yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm gonna sign off, fellas. But it's been great. Chandler, send out the membership applications for the RJ Barrett fan club. He is the president.
I don't know what just happened. It's like, once midnight struck, he morphed into something else. I don't even know who this dude is.
Me either. He went from hater to lover in 30 seconds.
Exactly.
I'll give you a holler tomorrow, man.
Okay. All right, but
listen, everybody. I want to thank my brothers for joining me. We had here for a minute. This is In the Pink, the realest show in sports. We are on usually Monday, Tuesday, Friday night. We've had a little.
And sometimes Wednesday morning.
Right. We've had some issues where we couldn't be on, but we're back. Hopefully, we'll be back even more. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is In the Paint Media Group, and also follow us on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at RealMax611. Ours is, I don't know. It's on the ticker. The In the Paint.
Jones.
Right. There it is. Real RJ Jones. And the In the Paint.
You all right,
YouTube, the In the Paint Twitter handle is at In the Paint Media. Peace, y'all.
All right. Peace.